Yeah, the only thing I recognized there was Caitlin Clark. But hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I am Adara, and this is Obi. And thank you so much, Obi, for killing it this week and filling in for Sharif as he hangs out with gorillas and other safari animals.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always happy to have you.
How's your morning going?
Oh, it's been okay. Thanks. I see you are noticing the Tesla. Yeah, I was in this Tesla trade. I was pretty happy with this trade actually. I got involved here right at that 9 EMA bounce at this 169.80 area. Then I set an order to get out if we break above this 170.40. I wanted to get out half the position, and then I also got an extra reload here just around that 169.60 area. They put it slightly above 169.60 because I was learning from Sean yesterday saying, if you want to reload, don't put it like below or above where you want to get it. You know what I mean? Like put it around because you want to let the stock kind of have its space, right? So I go get T. I'm like, Adara, just let Tesla be. You do not need to up Tesla. Go get a T, relax. I come back, we get a B quitter, and we also get filled. So I was like, please just punch. Obviously, it doesn't always work out that way, but Tesla was pretty calm. So I was like, you know what? We have it. We have everything in place. Breathe. We didn't make a lower low. We bounced. So I got out as we kind of got to that 170 area. I was noticing we were struggling with higher highs. Then I see us hold this 9 EMA like a glove, and I was like, Adara, let's take another little baby pop. So we took about 15 pennies around this 169.90 to 170. I guess like closer to 20 pennies. The point is, pennies were had, and trades were made, and I'm pretty happy so far. I'm trying to be a little bit more confident in my trading and take a few more risks, and we'll have to see how that goes. How is your day going so far?
Not too bad here. We can see the market's kind of pushing up. And I was initially short on Intel. It did come in quite hot. I didn't have eyes on it. Well, I did have eyes on it, but it came in right quickly, right off of the open. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna let it kind of do its thing and see what it does here. But as it started pushing into 39, I was like, oh, I gotta get in a little bit there. So I started getting short a little above 39 through 39, and then a bit of a chase into the lows. We got to work on that one, but that VWAP ads were definitely there. And then right before I was getting up, a little bit of a size showing up here at that 38.50 holding. And I was like, all right, well, if we're going to bid back up, I'm going to cover most of that. We come into 39. I think there was a thousand lots at 39, and apparently, I guess I didn't really see it when it got up there. But in and around here, I was observing 1,000 lots at 39. I'm like, all right, well, if you want to go for that liquidity, I don't want to stand in that way, and that is above VWAP as well, and most of my entries are below. So I pieced out of most of that position, and yeah, it goes to 39 and comes right back in. So I am still observing that. Let's see if the NQ kind of pulls back off of this 18.3. 18.3 been in a little bit of a level. Yeah, it's chopping around that level, but we can see that it's been interacting a lot with that 18.3 over the past few days. And yeah, a little bit of a pullback here coming back in on Intel. So let's see if we can crack that 50 base or we start making higher lows. So other than that, I didn't really have, well, actually, I guess I did have an Amazon trade as well. Might have forgot about that one there because it didn't really work out as per planned. But that's fine. I just got out, and I'm glad I got out as well. Take a look at that. It kind of came right back in. So I was like, all right, well, maybe we pull back into VWAP right now. That doesn't really happen. Can't even get there. Can't even push 184s, and pretty much get some out initially, and then get the rest out for break even. As I'm like, all right, well, I think this could potentially go a little higher. Tesla apparently, Neil is saying something happened on Tesla. All right, so
scraps its low-cost car plans amid fierce Chinese EV competition.
Okay,
so it was talking about that low-cost car. According to Reuters, messages seen by Reuters, that's an ant for Tesla with that car. I am really happy I got it the long where I did now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is an example of news. We're talking about sometimes the midday is a little bit more calm, but when we get news, you always have to be prepared to, of course, bring it back to what we've been talking about this week. Wow. I think this is an oh boy moment.
Yeah, oh boy, indeed. I wasn't necessarily watching it. I pull it up. I'm like, all right, well, what is this going to do right now? It is pretty volatile here. Chopping and churning about 30 to 40 pennies, well, 20, 30 pennies at a time. You can see right there, 60s, back to 90s, back to 50s, back to 40s, 66. So like you can see here, I'll pull up the tape for you guys, or the book, so you guys can see it a little bit nicer there. So 166, a little bit of a choppy range. Let's see if that 167 actually holds. Okay, here we go. 166 slamming right into it, taking out 230 lots at that 166 instantly, and then kind of bidding right back up. So a lot of chop on that one there. I'll let it settle down a little bit there. I wasn't necessarily involved on the break of low day. Even the break of that 169 would have been nice. But yeah, I think it's a little late to kind of punch into the short here as of right now. Let's see if we can get a lower high relative to that 170 to start getting involved, as sellers are quickly kind of pushing into this into the taker off of that news. And yeah, so I might be a little late for that one. But again, if the move is really there, I do want to stay. I do want to be patient, stay patient for it to kind of calm down, and maybe we can get that melodic selling going on if the sentiment off of this news is bound to continue there. So 166 coming right back in, quite heavy. So we did get a little bit of a pop. I think I need a smaller time frame, maybe even a seconds chart to kind of get some of this price action on lock here on Tesla. But yeah, let us know what you guys have been trading. That's absolutely wild here. Oh boy, that 166. We're chopping and churning around that one there. I'm glad you got out of that Tesla just in time, right there for that news.
Yeah, no,
absolutely wild.
Thank you. I mean, so am I, because if you look at the 3-minute candle, I got out on the candle before we dropped. So I feel like the only way to describe that's luck. You know what I mean? That's that.
Yes.
So I feel very lucky Mother Market had my back today, because as we know, as Obi talks about, Mother Market can be very...
You got to get a little lucky, but you know what they say about luck? What is luck? But it's preparation meeting opportunity, right?
Oh, I appreciate that. Okay, well,
I think it was Seneca who said that. So you got to make yourself a little lucky. You got to create your own luck a little bit, but definitely got to be thankful for being lucky as well. So
that's true. I appreciate that. Yeah. I also, shout out to, there was someone in the chat here, Day Trader Cut, saying that, thank you for running here. Fed's Logan speaking, it's difficult to predict exactly when overnight reverse repo balances will be deleted. So just a couple, or depleted, sorry. So just a couple comments here, nothing too big here popping up on my Benzinga from Fed's Logan. We do have a couple Fed speakers to keep an eye on this day. We do have... yeah, we have some Fed speakers happening today. I don't know where I was going with that. But yes, we have them in the midday is what I meant by that. So we will be keeping an eye on that. For now, though, Tesla, I've got the Benzinga up. If we hear anything more on that from that report from Reuters, I will let everybody know. We are going to transition into the lesson, which shout out to Obi for making the notes for this sports themed. This is kind of fun.
I mean, Adira initially made the notes. And then I kind of expanded a little bit more on them, and you know, filled in some more points of my own as well. But yeah, try to keep it a little fun there. So
a little fun, yeah. And then he sends those with
the
message, "Go sports!" period, which was just made me laugh out loud. Also, nice. Sean is short Tesla, so that's why he was running across the screen with his wheelbarrow there. Congrats to Sean. Shout out to Sean. He will sometimes put updates in the chat as well, so stay tuned. Pardon?
166.90.
166.90. Ooh, so the 50-cent plus club coming in there. And also you can check out the More Trading TV Live dashboard. Look at that little screen there. Definitely check that out. More Trader TV Live dashboard for that. So also thank you, Richardson, to Trader TV as a member. Of course, we'll probably have some interruptions, but we're going to try to get started with the lesson now, scheduling your trading day. So this is really, there's a lot of different steps to this, right? We're talking about time of day all week, but now it's like, once you have these times of day, how do you make them work within your schedule, and how do you figure out when or how you want to trade? So getting ready is the first really important piece of the puzzle. We've talked a little bit about this in the past in different how to trade lessons with Strafe as well.
Hey, nice.
Dollar Club, oh, yeah, Sean is partying there. 165, whew. 165.50, yeah, that's a, congrats to Sean. We will do the Sean shout out, which is great because it's alliteration. But yeah, you want to get familiar with that market news in the morning. Prop traders will start their day like they're preparing for a big game. You want to check out the news, like reading the playbook to see what's happening and what's in play around the world and in the US in different areas that could affect different markets. You also might want to take a peek at social media and trading apps to see what other traders are getting involved in, and focusing what stocks are getting lots of attention. And once you have a sense of what other people are looking at, it helps you know what you want to look at.
Took a quick
as we
scalp
head
up.
into the morning. Pardon?
Sorry, I was talking to Sean there. But yeah, no, that Tesla move was absolutely wild there. I took a quick scalp into that 165. I was like, yeah, I like that. Wow, there she goes,
Yeah,
still going. Beautiful. Wow. Okay, so nice little continuation on the move there. I saw that 66 and I was like, all right, we took a quick scalp there, but let's go to Sean's screen there. Yeah, okay, so yeah, look at that Tesla, beautiful on that pop up, and he still has a third, and we're pushing down to 164. Absolutely wild. I got to do a little bit better. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to hit that short underneath that 166. We saw that 66 kind of chop around. I'm like, I'm just taking it into 165, 63s, 64s coming in right now. Oh boy, look at that double stack. Look at that right there. 300 lots slams right through them. 63 and change right now. Tesla off of intraday catalyst. Absolutely beautiful scalping opportunities happening right now on Tesla. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this as well.
Oh my gosh!
While Tesla kind of keeps on going to the downside here. Congratulations on that short. That beautiful action at that 66, 67.
Yeah, that's crazy. Kevy also apparently making a nice piece on this news, so shout out to you as well, Kevy. Enjoying as everything else. Tesla's gonna fall below 163s.
Okay.
Wait, no, we fell below 163.
Right,
Wow, Sean is, I am sure, having the time of his life. Oh my gosh. DVDR3 asking the question everyone's asking. Someone check on Aunt Kathy.
Yeah, look at this right here. We are coming into weekly lows on Tesla right here, right at that 162. So let's see, can it bounce off that 162, or do we crack that week low and we go a little more red on the week here on Tesla? So let's see if that comes into fruition. But we got to get back to the lesson there. Wow.
Yeah,
this market is having a party here on Tesla. That 162 might be a little bit of a trouble area right now, but let's see what we do in and around there. If the sentiment of this intraday catalyst is stronger, then that week low means absolutely nothing. Let's go, Sean. Let's go.
Another one.
Sean with the bangers this week. Yesterday you got a 30-point winner. Today you got almost a 3-point winner now, 4-point winner?
I think it's got to be at least 4 or 5, I think, at this point.
All right.
Yeah, the market in general, too, like kind of turning down here. So Nvidia struggling a little bit, slightly lower high. AMD, I got out of, although now it looks like too early because we kept having this kind of failure as well to make this higher high, although in this case it might be I panic sold it on AMD, which is potentially fair. But yeah, I mean, with the lesson, I didn't want to get too involved in this game, especially as we're seeing this kind of little shelfie action happening around that 170.90. But for now, we will go back to the lesson. Of course, I have my Benzinga open. If things happen, we will let you know, and we'll keep everybody apprised of what's happening. Yeah, this is wow market.
Yeah.
Wow, Tesla's at like catalyst left, right, and center. We had those delivery numbers earlier this week. We had lots of news of Tesla potentially in India. Then we have counterpoint research saying that India actually has a really burgeoning EV play. So this seems like a really good time for Tesla to get involved, given how India's EVs are doing. But Tesla,
what you're
this
telling
story's
me is
bad.
that it's at a discount right now.
I get.
At one.
Well,
I don't know.
Kathy, that's what Kathy would tell you.
Okay.
I would think, because we know Kathy bought something like 30, yeah. Kathy, what are you doing? Are you okay? I saw Tesla and I'm a little concerned. Call me back. Yeah. Hopefully she's
so you
good.
left the message. You left the message. Okay, all right.
Well, she called me and I left a message. But hot dog, yeah, I mean, that's the only message we can is hot dog cannons. Yeah. Yeah, she was a little distraught. She couldn't talk. It was pretty hard to hear.
Fair enough.
But no, it's all
I think
good.
she was probably busy kind of like checking out her Tesla position there.
I would think so.
But yeah, we can go back to the lesson
So
here.
I'm just trying to make sure we're all apprised of the market here too as well.
Dara just talked about getting ready. So let's go to the next step here. So again, so you're getting ready for the big game. So we've got a little bit of a sports theme going on. So we're mapping the field. So what's the next thing you do? So you've read the news. You're looking at active stocks. You're looking at what might be in play, and what's the next move, right? So sketching out your trade plan, kind of looking at the chart spot, looking at key places on the field where the ticker might bounce up or down that you're interested on, and then think how they might play off of those levels on the day, right? So is it going to be fast moves? Are you going to be scalping off of those? Is it a level to level where you're kind of like building a position and letting it ride from one intraday level to the next? Or maybe it's a higher time frame level. So looking at the playing field there, and yeah, so or maybe it's just a range, right? So it's like kind of defining and mapping out what you're going to be doing with those in play names on the day, and then really building into that strategy for the day. Obviously referencing a little bit of your toolkit, your playbook of what things are your strengths and your weaknesses, and then can those in-play names kind of follow along with some of those. So a little bit of mapping the field before you get to the game.
Yeah, I like that. Now, once you're prepared for the game, what happens when you actually having game time? You know, like we had the whole college basketball thing recently. This is a very apt analogy, I guess, there too, as Neil mentioned Caitlin Clark over there. But yeah, game time. Really, now that you have everything planned, you've mapped the field, you've woken up early, now it's time to go. So whether you start at 9:30 a.m., because we were talking about time of day trading this week, or whether you're starting in the midday, because I start at like 11 usually, whatever your time is, your game time is what makes sense for you. And now it's time to go. Traders will usually, you want to stick to your plan, but stay sharp and be ready to prepare to change a little bit if something changes or something switches up. Neil mentioned this as well. Have a plan, but also be ready to adapt within reason if you need to. So I think that was a really apt lesson that you can go back and visit on our YouTube if you did miss Neil's lesson of the day. But yeah, so basically traders, as you kind of adapt, you get to know A, what time of day works for you, B, what style of play works best for you. And the more you do that, the more you can just get a sense of when's the right time to jump in. So I am a bit rangier, so the midday is actually kind of pretty effective for the type of trading I like to do, right? Just sitting and waiting. But we know Sean and Neil like to take those trades right off the open and have those, you know, those big banger trades. So it really depends on what type of style you are, what type of time of day you're free, or what kind of works best for you. So there's definitely lots of options there. You just have to get to know yourself a little bit first. But then once you have the game, you got to go talk about it after and figure out what went wrong.
Yeah, so I think this is a crucial part when it comes to my daily schedule, and when it comes to kind of getting better, getting a little bit better every day, right? So after the market closes, you kind of think about how the day went, what worked, what didn't. Did you follow the plan? Are you doing your journals, right? So journaling is a huge thing that I definitely believe in, and again, that journaling process does have to get better. But kind of journaling what you did on the day, did you follow the plan, kind of tagging your plays, being like, all right, this was a breakout, this was earnings day 1 or earnings day 2, et cetera, getting specific with those, with kind of categorizing what kind of trades you took on the day, so that you have a historical database that you can reference back to and be like, all right, well, in the month of March, okay, these are the plays that I did really well on. These are the plays I can definitely do a little bit more on. Maybe these are some that I can avoid, and keeping that journal and keeping track of what you did and what you didn't do really does help. And doing it that day is obviously crucial. Doing it right after the market, right after you're kind of done your trading day, when everything is like fresh in your mind, you have that price action that's fresh, you have your ideas that are fresh, and you're putting that stuff down on paper, so that when you go back home or later on in the week, on the weekend, when you're reviewing your trades, you don't have to be like, oh, what was I thinking there? What did I see on the tape there, et cetera, et cetera. You get specific with your journal, so that that post-game review can come in handy, and you use that to get a little bit better every day.
Yeah, I like that. Extra tips as well to kind of keep in mind, so that you can make sure you win. At least, like you feel fulfilled in your trading, and hopefully making some better trades. You need to really know yourself as a trader and figure out your trading style. So are you more of someone who likes these fast-paced moves, or do you like to wait and be slow, pack your patience? As our friend Sharif, who recently packed his bags for a safari, likes to say sometimes. Or you really just don't want to rush, because sometimes, and I talk about this a lot, I struggle with patience, but sometimes being patient can be really key. You have to wait in the sidelines, both to get involved and to take out your profit, because yesterday, that was huge. Sean had that winner on Nvidia because he just sat and let it fall to the downside. So sometimes that helps as well. I think kind of knowing what style you are, and of course you don't know everything right away. Quan Tran tagging me in the chat saying you're an at the open trader, you just don't know it yet. So I mean, things can of course change, right? People's trading strategies and approaches can change, but you kind of have to get a sense of yourself and figure out what you want to do. And that's why I was really happy we were able to bring you guys this week, these different times of day trading, because different people trade at different times of day. And as a show that takes place during the midday, I think it's kind of a unique perspective. So that is our last lesson this week, but we will repeat it 2 more times. We'll have to see if Tesla decides that it would like to have more news break, because that Tesla move was nuts. But that is our lesson of the day. And thank you again to Obi for that lovely sports analogy. Go sports.
Go sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google, apparently, Google following here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 152.85, Sean's saying he's short. Yeah, a little bit of a curl happening there on both the futures. We talk about that 18.3, so we did kind of push about 20 points above that 18.3, coming right back in. And Tesla, I was watching that 165. That 165 looked quite enticing, and before I knew it, we were trading below 164s. So we are kind of pushing into that weekly low that I was talking about a little earlier, and we've made a lower high at that 65 level. So let's see what Tesla's got in store for us. Let's see if that 62 kind of breaks down. Can we stay a little nimble off of this? I will try my hand at a little quick short potentially through that week low here at that 162. So we are slamming down. We took a little bit of a lower high at that 165, and that 165 aggressively kind of sold right back into those lows. So let's see how this kind of works out here. I am chasing a tad bit. That 165 was probably one of the better prices to kind of get involved with there. So if this kind of doesn't really come into fruition soon enough, I will piece out of it just as quickly. But let me know in the chat, are you guys trading this Tesla move that's happening right now? It's pretty crazy. It's pretty volatile there. And yeah, definitely a lot of opportunities for those who are very astute in the tape read, and then also kind of playing those intraday catalysts. Like if that is part of your playbook, then yeah, the intraday catalyst is definitely something to watch for. I like it as well. Again, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress for me. But we did bounce off of that 162 just once, and then 165 kind of a resistance right now post this report. So let's see how that kind of works out there. What are you looking at, Adara?
Yeah, I'm in. AMD is once again bamboozling me. Someone recently, I think a couple weeks ago, was saying AMD is kind of a widowmaker. And the more I've tried to kind of dance with AM danger, I've noticed that this one can be like we know yesterday it had that false bottom. You and I both tried to get involved in that. And then AMD was like, nah, just playing, and continued to fall to the downside, right? So AMD can be a tricky one. This, though, I initially got long at this area. Then we got out when we kind of, initially we were holding up well at that 170.40. So once we broke below that, I was like, Adara, you can't do this to yourself anymore. Got out. Then I got in the short because look at this massive rejection here. I noticed once again we failed that 170.80 area. So I was like, not a bad area. But now I think we might be kind of more ranging here than I thought. So you know what? I'm going to add a little bit to this position at this level. It's 205s, and then just kind of continue to take this as we get to the bottom of this range here of like 70s. So not a great position. I think probably if I'd stuck with the long, it now looks like the long might have been more correct, but we're still seeing generally lower highs, right? We haven't eclipsed that 171.40 high. I'm not going to be trying to get out of this a high of days, because if AMD breaks above high of days, I don't want to be messing with that. But if we break significantly above this little shelf that we've AM dug for ourselves, then I'm going to have to be getting out. I don't like the support at the 90 MA. AMD, just make up your mind. Like, that's all I'm asking. But you know what? Stocks don't care about your feelings. So all you have to do is play with what the market's giving you. And right now, the market is giving me lots of grief. No, I'm joking. But I do need to kind of figure out what I want to do here, because AMD, I think, is pushing higher. And it looks like the long was probably the right decision in the first place. Nvidia, though, actually probably a more interesting. I wanted to short a chip here because we do have these lower highs. Like I said, I like looking at having Nvidia on my 1 minute on my side chart. And we're getting kind of choppy and churny in a way that could be fascinating. I have to get out of AMD, though, because we're about to break out of new highs of days. I see you've entered the Cybertruck.
Yeah, I have entered the Cybertruck. I am looking for that glass to crack at that
like
162, and that 162 is pushing right now. So kind of held through some chop there. 162 is the weekly low. There's 600 lots sitting on that 162. You guys can see it right there. Let's see if we crack through, buddy, at that 162, 600 lots on the NASDAQ book right there. So let's see if we print any of that size. Bang, right through, 15 pennies right through that 162. Week low is pushing, so fresh lows on the week on Tesla. Can it hold that 162? Reserves on the ask. Reserves on the ask. Is anybody going to slap that? Absolutely not. 162. 20s coming back in. So, okay, all right. We kind of bid right back through that 162 as of right now. So let's see. Are we going to chop around? Are we going to go to 161? 160 is a little interesting. 162 just holding as of right now on Tesla. Absolutely crazy move here. 161 potentially coming in. Let's see what we do with that previous weekly low. If we're going to chop around for too long here, I will kind of piece off and reassess. As it is kind of holding that 162 right now. But again, I got to be a little patient. The action is very aggressive. The action is very, very fast. You can see the tape kind of moving really, really quickly. I need more frames on this screen to it needs to be more than 60 FPS, man. I'm used to gaming in like 144 hertz at least, and this tape is a little laggy for me. But yeah, some more frames would definitely be nice here. Again, as a gamer, we get to, you get to work around that low frame rate. You learn how to play with the lag, so it's all good. 161 potentially coming in here. So let's see if this continuation happens on Tesla to the downside here. I do want to pull it up on a higher time frame here real quickly, but this price action has me very mesmerized, and that little bit up, I don't like that. So I'm going to kind of push kind of out of it there. I could be totally wrong, but we kind of are holding in and around that 162. So I'll let it kind of cook at that week low price and see what happens there. We are bidding right back through that 162. So that was a quick little point there on a quick scalp. Let's see what we do with that 162. If we kind of start to slow down here as the news is starting to settle in and the tape starts to slow down and act a little differently now, let's see if we can get the next move. What is the next trade? I'm kind of asking there. A little bit of a fumble on my part, not holding this piece right underneath that 166. That was quite beautiful, flush right into the 160, low 160s there. Taking a look at a higher time frame, you can see right there. Tesla is known to do some nasty lick grabs, and I'm looking for potential. I don't want to get sideswiped by a potential weak low lick grab right at that 162 if we don't kind of slam right through it right away. So that's why I want to be a little patient. That's an hourly candle, and it seems like we are pushing right back through that 162, 161 halves testing right now. So it might have been a little too premature there for my cover, but you know what? It is what it is. I like the scalp. And that was a quick scalp indeed. So let's go to the next trade. It is fine. I can reassess on maybe a pop. If we get lower highs underneath 162, oh boy, does that really kind of firm up the selling pressure being in charge underneath that weekly low of that 162 on Tesla. But let's see if we can catch a little bit of a bid here. That strength. Look at that volume. We talk about volume coming into the move, right? So take a look at this. So let's actually go to a 1 minute chart right here. You can see that volume kind of nothing. Sure, the opening volume. We talk about the opening session being kind of the highest, one of the higher volume sessions, but intraday catalyst, oh boy, can that kind of outweigh anything and everything as it puts the whole day's float offside below the day low underneath that 167. So that 167 kind of entry, absolutely beautiful there for the crack of low day on a catalyst move, intraday catalyst. Oh boy. This market is absolutely beautiful. Intel still struggling with that 3850. So I only have breadcrumbs on. I did not get more at that 39. That was, I think, the nice spot there. It was confluence with some size. 1,000 lots at that 39, can't even get through it, and then we slam right back down into this base that we're kind of making at that 38.5. So I got my breadcrumbs on. Let's see if that comes into fruition. I'm more than willing to stop out if it doesn't, but let us know in the chat what you guys are trading today. A little bit of, okay, there it goes, 161 happening on Tesla there, so we are pushing some more fresh lows. Only about 400 lots on this one, so a little bit less than that 161, but you got to remember, these levels are choppy. They are not clean at all. It doesn't go right through and continue, not every level, but that little rebid and the pop, like shorting the pops, buying the dips, oh boy, is that beautiful. I do like that one. 161, can we print that size? Is that a spoofy man happening? We kind of saw some size on the ask as well, and they got filled. So that's interesting to me. 161, a little bit interesting as well, right underneath that previous week low. But I'm going to cool off here. I'm going to kind of look for the next trade, maybe somewhere else, wait for Tesla to cool off as well. So let me know in the chat, are you guys watching anything else other than some of this crazy movement that's happening on Tesla? We know the market was quite wild off of the open. That little dip that happened off of 18.1, and then we just slammed back up about 200 points into 18.3. We saw how crazy the market has been yesterday. 18.5 to 18.1, a 300-point flush happening with a result of that selling happening end of day here. So it seems like sellers are looking for any and every reason to kind of pile in, especially here on Tesla, kind of that selling coming into fruition off of a catalyst and some strong volume. 160, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, oh boy, indeed. OB, totally right about that. Congrats to you, though, on that trade. That was amazing. That's awesome.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know about amazing, but yeah, it can definitely better. Amazing is closer to what Sean had at the 167 short, and then he's holding it into the 162s, 163s. That was definitely something. I got to learn some stuff from that. That low of day crack, right? So off of the news, it rebids 166s. And I think he said he had 6690s underneath that 67. So yeah, I think that was the most amazing entry right there on the retest. And you got to be on the ball for that one there. And shout out to Sean for having that short 161 holding as of right now. So we are cooling off. So
yeah, that was a wild one. Yeah, I mean, definitely not stress left for OB. That was a nice one. But yeah, I think love to see what I'm in Nvidia right now, and I wanted to explain this and talk about this for a moment, if I may. So I'm trying to approach this with the same kind of way I approached the Nvidia short I had yesterday. I learned a lot from just hearing Sean kind of talk about trading yesterday, and I know yesterday too he did tell me, like, you can't be scared, right? So if I have a plan, I just want to stick to that plan, and I want to breathe, and I want to just go through it. So Nvidia, I got involved here at 875. Why? We've had lower highs, lower lows, and I did like that rejection of that 90 MA. And I said, you know what, Adira, you could start taking some of this out as we kind of get into this 874 50s area, and then kind of reload as we get into 876s. Now we have not actually gotten we haven't gotten our beak winner yet, but it's at the ready, it's waiting. We'll see. If we break decisively above this double top area of the 876.30, I'm going to be out. We got to about 876.25s, and then we went back to the downside. So Nvidia, I'm just trying to breathe. I'm also trying to practice, I think, too, before I go live, being more calm in trades. I am not, I'm a little bit of a skittish trader. I'm a very jumpy person, which has kind of been brought up before on this
Do you meditate?
I don't.
So I started meditating like after I got onto the floor, because
really?
I was like, yeah, I need to kind of hone in that calmness, right? Kind of that mental focus. So I found that kind of meditating really helped me. And sometimes I'll meditate at my desk. That's what I started as well. Right before the open, I'll do like a 5-minute kind of visualization meditation as well. That's been helping. I like that. So I'm like, when things kind of go to plan, I've already traded it in my head as per plan, and I feel so much more comfortable. I'm like, I'm not as scared. But sure, it's not going to always go as per plan, right? It's very rare. But when and if it does happen, you've already been in the trade. So I'm like, all right, well, okay, I'll take some of this price. I'll take off here. Holy, there goes Tesla to the long side. Somebody said they were long in the chat off the 161. So that reversion right back into VWAP. Oh boy, beautiful. What a reason to cover. Ooh. Great reason to buy right through that 162. That is beautiful. Look at this volatility, slapping faces to the upside there. That's a squeeze if I've ever seen one. Right into that 166, 167. Oh boy, is it a party up in here. Tesla, Hello, let's go. And look at this. Look at where it finds liquidity on a slap in the ass. I saw Ponzi Fonzie saying, "Oh, Tesla, let me slap that ass." Oh boy, did that ass slapping definitely happen right into VWAP 166. 166. The news is false.
Oh.
So Brendo coming in saying that the news is false and that move reverting instantly. So okay, so a little bit of shorts offside, definitely. You have the initial news and then you say that news is false. Insta rip right into right up into the ask and breaking through all these sizes, all these levels that we just sold off of very aggressively. So a negation of the news. What a fugaze. Absolutely crazy. Wow. Okay, so I think people in the chat saying maybe Elon tweeted there. Was it an Elon tweet, Brendo? Okay, so yes, confirmation. Brendo is saying that Elon did tweet that is false news on the Tesla move, and you got an insta bid on that. So maybe some algos using that Twitterverse or that Xverse to kind of position right back in and catch players offside on a news report that is not true there. So are we going to get that reversion right back into 170? Looks quite likely, as anybody and everybody who got short below that low a day, oh boy, yes, it was a beautiful trade. It was a beautiful scalp as it lasted. But if you were holding on for the dream, that was not it, as this market is absolutely wild, absolutely beautiful. Hopefully you guys are catching these opportunities and you guys are on the right side of the move there when it comes to these things. So yeah, quick scalp, aggressive move, aggressive scalping, happens real quick. I get in and out real quick, and apparently I guess that was the right way to look at it. I'm glad I was not holding and hoping for the dream through that 160. And yeah, you never know with this market. You never know with these intraday catalysts. They can say that, you know, the man himself, Elon Musk, is saying that this is fake news here on that Tesla report. What was the initial news there?
The initial news was that Reuters saying that Tesla is scrapping its lower priced car amid competition in China. And yet Elon, now Benzinga's got this now as well. Elon did tweet saying that Reuters is incorrect on that.
Tesla's definitely playing with hearts today.
Oh yeah, but also look too, I should have gotten short this because I was watching this and I was like, oh Adara, your instincts are not very good. But I was like, what if we reject this off this previous support area? And we did. So you know what? I'm gonna try to get back involved here. If we get back into like, let's do 46s, I'm gonna short this. But I think it might be too late for that. But yeah, just because like we had that big move up and then look where we start to run into issues. That previous area of support.
Yes.
So it's like I should have been ready to short that. I shouldn't have been all like skittish, like a little deer in the headlights. I don't know why I'm doing like these paws, but I guess I had paws and not fingers pressing on the markets. There we go. The paws were apt. But we're gonna try to get involved in this. Did get out of Nvidia. I got out a little bit late. I wasn't fast enough with my fingers there. We were about $1 later than I wanted to be on that, unfortunately. I've had issues with stops. I've talked about this before. I don't know if it's like being on the sim or what, but my stops do not trigger a lot of the time. So that was just kind of what's happening there. I am still gonna have this order here, and then if we're gonna give this, it's Tesla, so we're gonna give this a little bit of room. We're gonna give this probably
prime example of Tesla turning into a stressla.
Right?
People,
there we
right?
go.
Like
there
if you're offside. Oh
exactly.
Boy.
We're gonna take like, if we can take 50 pennies on this, I'll be happy. But I feel like Tesla, that was a false area of resistance. I was probably too late on that move. We're kind of pushing back up here. Yeah. So
I think we're likely to revert back to that reference price that kind of right before that news comes out, that reference price being right at that 170. So if the news is fake, if players are trapped, sure, that I think the second bar as well through that 168, we are stopping right there. So yeah, sure, this is a 3-minute candle. So I'm gonna delve down into the 1 minute and really kind of let's kind of piece through this move. What happened in and around here? So you can see that chop consolidation right here. So again, we know that I think Sean was short 166.90s. Look at how long it kind of spent here. 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. So you had 4 minutes for a day trader. Oh boy, is that a lifetime? And it spends its time right there, kind of chopping around underneath the previous low a day, and then that's when that short kind of comes in, and I really like that as well. Look at that. I took that consolidation break down, I got to hold on for a little bit more. That's a little bit of a jittery kind of cover right back through the 165. I don't know what it is about psychological levels. I always get a little trippy on psych levels because like I've seen how they act over time. There's 1,000 lots on the ask right there. Spoofy man happening on Tesla. I don't know if you guys saw there right there. So 167 and some change. I thought I saw him right there for a second. I know I saw him right there for a second and kind of gone. So maybe a little deeper in the book. I don't have the full book right now, but I think I did. Buddy did show up there. I think in and around that 68 mark with 2,000 lots. I forgot what I said as well. Things are getting exciting. Things are getting a little heated here. I got to go to something a little more calmer.
You got to go to the meditation version of a trade. Yeah,
like Intel. Intel's just doing its own thing, right? For the past couple of days, Intel's doing its own thing. It's kind of like that back burner trade that, like, yeah, sure, you have a bias, you put some risk on, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's perfectly fine as well, and you kind of focus on some other names. ARM 125 coming in, Nvidia pushing towards its highs, AMD trending to the upside, Intel doing its own thing, like we said, TSM. Pushing towards its highs as well. Semiconductors, yeah, I got the ETFs on watch as well, kind of pushing towards their highs. So there comes in that short beauty. You had that one there.
I did. I was very.
Did you get out of everything?
Yeah, I did. It was just because the way it was, I was like, you know what? If I'll take my 50 pennies. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So yeah, we got 50 pennies on this, and I want to talk about why I got in because that's why I switched to the 1 minute to kind of show what I was looking for. So if you zoom out a little bit here, you could see earlier this was around where we had that area of support, right? That 175.50. So I noticed we get to 175.50, and that's what this candle was. We get to 175.50, and then we kind of fall there. So I was like, Adara, keep an eye on this. This is kind of an interesting level, right? So we get back up to 175.50, and I said, you just do it. Just do it. So I got short. We got up to 168, and then we fell down. And I got back to kind of that trough where we fell to at its lowest earlier, around that 167. And I said, be happy with that. I took my 50 cents. Though Obi did call it now, it's continuing to fall a little lower here. But I was just trying to play off of that level of previous support. And I do, someone in the chat as well was saying these support levels don't always hold up in news, and that's why I didn't want to get in right away. But once we had that initial rejection at that level, I said, it can't hurt. It's worth a shot, right? So I want to take that shot. I'm trying to be a little bit more of a bold trader. As Eminem says, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Oh, yeah. So you don't want to miss your chance to blow. So yeah, we had to try there. Happy I didn't lose too much in the trade, or I didn't lose myself too much in this trade. So to make another Eminem reference there. But yeah, this was pretty happy with this one, I have to say. And yeah, it was a bit of a scalpier move, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Also, please make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, guys, because we're having a great time here every day. So many different shows.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, there we go. Who could say it better than Neil did just there? So please do that. Please check us out. We have the podcast coming up this weekend as well. If you have any fun little questions that you want to share, let us know. Please, for the podcast that you want to ask Sean and Brendan, fun little stuff to keep it fun, anything topical, anything entertaining. We've talked about shamrock shakes, we've talked about mini eggs, so anything fun, please tag me and let me know what questions you have for Sean and Brendan for the podcast. Fun little questions. Yeah, I should talk about these trades that I had that went badly during that whole move because I have neglected these. Microsoft, this is a huge example of when in doubt, zoom out. My 1 minute chart, which I'll show you what the 1 minute looks like. I was like, oh, Microsoft's rangy. Oh, let's take this short. And I was like, I go to the 5 minute and I'm like, oh my gosh, Adara, this is a bull flag. Get out now. So I got out now. We didn't lose too much on this. Thank gosh. But next time it's like you need to really, when in doubt, zoom out, as Neil says, and that's what I should have done there. So that was an L. I'm no one to blame on that for myself. And then again, this AMD, I was trying to short. I don't even remember what the impetus for this was. I'm looking back at this and I'm like, Adara, girl, what were you doing? Oh yeah, okay, this one I talked through earlier. So this was just me trying to take this short here off of that previous area of support that then flipped resistance and support that I thought it was resistance, ended up being support. I got out. So both of those pretty happy with because I didn't lose more than I needed to. Although AMD, I think I should be staying away from that one for the foreseeable future because that's been, AMD and I are not besties today. Not that we can't be later, but right now I'm just having a really hard time figuring how that one moves. It's because I call it AM, says Fabian. Fabian says AMD is a little bit vengeful. But no, yeah, it's pretty funny. But no, I think too, the thing with this one as well is that someone in the chat did mention it's kind of can be a widowmaker. This one can move a lot very quickly in very different directions. So that could be what's happening here as well. But let's see. How are you? Yeah, you're right. Intel's been doing its thing.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have, like I said, I am looking to get some real size there on Intel. Just watching it kind of coast along. Maybe it'll come into fruition later on in the day. I have no idea, but I'm keeping a piece on just so I can kind of stay a little involved with the ticker there. But it is kind of holding below VWAP. I do want to get a little bit more if it continues to show weakness in selling. But yeah, that beautiful kind of reversion or like a quick little scalp short happening again with the confluence of that size. Spoofy Man showing up at that 168. I don't know if he got filled there. Like I said, I don't have my full tape in my books here, so that I can kind of catch those larger orders kind of filling after they already have. But again, whether it did or not, there was definitely size there, and we pulled back off. And where do we pull back off into? Previous resistance right there at that 165 on the move, on that sell-off move, right? So a quick little scalp off of the size coming in, that size kind of not showing up anywhere except for that 168 and then pushing right back in. So let's see what happens here. And I saw people in the chat saying that, oh, the initial news was from Reuters. Are they lying? What are they doing? Et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you can kind of. Here's the thing. There's always news that's going to happen, right? But at the end of the day, if you're just watching that price action and you don't really care, and yeah, sure, you care about the news, you want to know what sentiment it has. But even if you didn't have the news, even if you didn't have even the charts either, if you're just looking at the price action on the book, I think I am a strong believer of the trade is still there. It doesn't matter, right? Price action is king. Price action is the tell-all, and the book and the level 2, if anything, is one of the only leading indicators, along with volume as well. But yeah, so I do kind of I am a strong believer of that. Whether that's right or wrong, I have yet to kind of discover, but as of right now in my trading journey, that is what I believe in, and I will hold fast to that. And okay, so Tesla is still holding that 165. I'm looking for the next trade there. Intel continues to make lower highs and not really lower lows. That 38.5 shelf is holding right now. So what we do, if we do anything with that shelf, will be interesting, and maybe have me involved in a little bit more and actually put on the position there on the Intel. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading. I'm not really watching anything else. Let me look at my book here for what I had on my trade plan today. Actually, you know what? I did have a couple names that I have not looked at, and with the market kind of being this hot, let's see what those guys have been up to. Okay, so one of them was AbbVie. So AbbVie is I think it had some sort of fundamental catalyst yesterday. There's a clear change in sentiment as it sold off. Sure, the market sold off near the end of the day there, but AbbVie started selling off right off the open, looking very similar to kind of what AMD looked like, but no real relation. They had its own kind of news. Look at that expanding volume as you push the lows and close at low a day. So very, very strong move on AbbVie, and I was looking for a potential continuation there, and let's see, my notes say that, yeah, look for a continued fade, and it doesn't really happen, right? We're getting that reversion, so maybe this 171, so I was looking for continued fade off of that 170, so we are above that 170. Doesn't really happen on that initial pop. Sure, you could have got a quick little scalp off that 170 off of this previous consolidation that did happen going into the close. Can't really get through it on that initial pop, pulls back in for a little bit of a tiny little reversion, and then you make some fresh highs on the day. So AbbVie, definitely kind of on watch, was part of my trade plan on the day. Didn't really do what I was looking for, so I kind of left that one alone. Next one, Levi. We know that's earnings day 2 happening, and I know some interesting action happening at 21. That 21, bit of a reserve happening on 21 there. So I was watching it. I'm like, all right, well, if it's going to reserve this level, let's see how well or what we do relative to that reserve. And as of right now, we're making higher lows, kind of building into that reserve, and that's not really what I was looking for. I was looking for a potential kind of continuation of yesterday's flush end of day, but it seems like that 21 seller, whoever that may be, that 21 is holding it down quite nicely on Levi's. So nothing really for me right there. Sure, I could be taking that scalp, taking that range over and over again. Let's go to a shorter time frame and take a look at that. Bit of a range there, right, Adara? So but the range is compressing. So there's a bit of price compression into that 21 reserve that's happening, and that reserve, bit of confluence, happens to be right at the closing price of yesterday.
So I'm going to take over while Fabian can fix your mic for a second there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Levi's definitely doing its thing at 21. So do your thing, 21, Levi's. You said that, I had to. But yeah, Eric Laneuville, we don't know. All we know is Reuters made this report, and then Elon Musk denied the report. So we don't. All we know is what's been said from both parties, right? So I can't say for sure fake news or not. Elon Musk's side is saying that it is incorrect. So that's all I'm going to say on that, just because I don't want to speak out of turn. With regards to that news, I do have the Benzinga up. If we see any news, we will let you guys know. Right now, though, just kind of seeing this story, summarizing everything that's happened so far with this. Maybe not the best time to get involved in the Tesla long, but I love the support that we have here at this level. Look at this. We kind of chop and turn around this 165.35. Couple failed wicks to the downside, but look where we bounce off of that previous area, that 168.80. So I like this. We even bounced there again while I was in the stock, and then we bounced right back up. So I'm okay with this right now. We're going to have to see what we do. I want to add a little bit here, I think, though, at this 165 level, if I may. Tesla, if you want to swing those Cybertruck doors open, I'd be pleased as punch. But yeah, so we're going to have to see what happens here. Yeah, what else are people looking at? Because I feel like there's kind of a lot of the same types of stories happening in this market right now, right? So yeah, that Levi's range is interesting, though. Thank you, Obi, for bringing that to my attention, because I think that's a nice look for sure. Tesla's trying to pop back up here again, so please, Tesla, give us that little bounce. Also, you know what's getting rangy is Miss Amazon here as well.
I literally pulled that up just now.
Oh, sorry, I think I still need to be talking here. But Fabian, yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I wasn't. I'm not trying to cut anyone off here. But yeah, we have at this little base of this 184.40, right? Then we could have come here into 185.20 a couple times. And then so there's like a couple different levels of this range, right? I think that 185.20 is a nice top. Then we even have a higher top here at 185.40. So if you get straight from the bottom of this range to the pure top, it's like about a dollar range, which is not a bad look at all for AMZN. Now we're kind of dancing on this 90 MA. Looks like this one's trying to break the tops. This could be actually kind of an extended bull flag type move here on Opie's old pal, AMZN. Okay. Looks like Amazon might be usurped by Intel, though, because you've been trading a lot of Intel lately, too. Amazon might be getting a little jealous. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But I don't really care about that, about what Amazon feels about me. But like you said, stocks don't have feelings. They don't really care about what your plan is, what your opinion is, what your feelings are. And yeah, it's no good to get emotionally involved and attached to a certain trade idea or a plan. But I'm saying that kind of speaking to myself there. There was a tendency for me to kind of bag hold and get married to an idea, get married to a ticker. And sometimes when I'm trading in a bit of a tilted mental, I find myself kind of going back to that. So I do kind of want to emphasize to myself that, okay, well, you know, that tilted trading happens every now and then, but you gotta watch out for that. You gotta be aware of said tilt and manage your emotions just as you manage your positions. It's just as important, right? If not even more. right? Because if you can't manage your emotions, good luck managing your position. Let me tell you that. And I find myself in some of the bigger losses when that is the case. So being kind of aware of that is what I'm trying to get better at as well. Van Eck pushing highs, StockSell pushing highs. So let's see, Nvidia and Intel, AMD. Okay, so they're all kind of grinding up higher. Xander, is that how you say it with a J, is saying that XOM to the moon. Let's take a look at XOM. I know it's pushing all-time highs. Oh boy, did it get past all-time highs already. XOM, I think it was 120.70 was previous all-time highs. Look at that, 120.70, little bit of a consolidation base happening, and we're accelerating off of that break of consolidation there. 121 halves. XOM, oh boy, is oil running? Let's take a quicker look on the higher time frame there. So this is a weekly chart. You can see that we've been in this range, but take a look at this revisit of the high of the range. Very, very aggressive, distinctly different than every single time that we've come up to this range high at the 21 and some change in the 70s, and kind of it was like a methodic. Sure, this one was a little aggressive, but you know, it's choppy. It's choppy. It's not that clean, but take a look at the distinct difference in this bid to the high of the range. What I was asking myself over the past couple of weeks is like, what is the probability of the range break if we're pushing up with this kind of action on the weekly into the highs? Seems like it was pretty high, and we are breaking those all-time highs on the XOM, long awaited by a lot of participants. We were talking about this a little earlier on in the year, kind of talking about what the next big trade is, and I think both Neil and Sean were talking about this as well. Oil, and a lot of big players positioning into oil for the swing, for the bigger picture trade, and XOM kind of coming into fruition with that action there. So let's take a quick look at CL as well, crude oil futures. This one is a little bit delayed, and yeah, a little bit of a bid happening on crude oil as well. That was that little wick shimmy into the negative, into the negatives that we all kind of experienced a couple years ago in 2020 when oil futures went negative, and then look at that wick. Oh boy, that wick. That price action, definitely a little something there on the larger time frame. So Intel coming back into that 139, sorry, that 39. So let's see if that size is showing up again at that 39 here on Intel. Let me go back to that one. I got to see if Buddy's back in action with that 1,000 lots at that 39. I got to catch him before, or if it's still there. So that's what I'm going to be watching there. Let me know in the chat what you guys are watching. Euro USD short. Okay, we got some Forex traders in the chat. Shout out. We don't really trade Forex. Although we do have access to it, I don't know too many Forex traders myself, but again, quite a market, right? It's a multi-trillion dollar market there on Forex. And let me see, I was trying to look at the DXY as you reminded me to maybe look at the currency index when we are trading, and the market's taking some strong action there. So, oh boy, look at that. A little bit of a V-shaped action there. Where was this candle? 8:30 there, and that is 11:45. So, okay, cool. So around 8:30, we got that nice little rip up on the Dixie, and then we're reverting a decent chunk of the move as of right now. So some potential movers happening in the Forex markets as well. Let us know what you guys are trading in Forex. I'm definitely curious to know about opportunities in the Forex market, as again, like I said, don't know too many players, don't know too many traders that do trade Forex. Personally, I do know traders that do trade Forex successfully as well, but I personally have not met an avid Forex trader and had conversations. But hopefully, with a little bit of networking, maybe I can find some of those players as well.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I think that's a really cool look there on Forex. It's something that I think sounds really interesting. John says, Mansky in the chat saying Forex sounds fun. I mean, why not, right? It's a different type of trading, something else to keep an eye on, of course. Right now, though, my eyes are on Tesla. We like the support area. I got involved kind of right above this 90 MA area at that 165.50-esque, added a little bit at 30s. Now, though, I think we are maybe curling down just a skosh. Mildred Collado in the chat saying that Tesla's trying to go back down. I don't really disagree with that. I do not like Part of me likes that while we're holding this 165 area. The other part of me says, Adara, if this breaks, it's going to break with a viciousness. And I want none of that smoke. Like, literally none of that smoke. But I can't react until it's happened. I don't have a reason to leave, so I'm not going to leave. I'm trying to be a little bit more putting my foot down with these stocks. You know what I mean? Like, no Tesla. I have no reason to leave, so I'm not going to leave. So I'm trying to be a little bit more firm with them. You know what I mean? Not spooking myself out, psyching myself out, getting out earlier than I should, because I've done that to my detriment before. So I don't want to do that again now here. So let's see what happens. Come on, Tesla, do your thing. 21, let's see if it does. Let's see what else. DXYZ, crazy, says Jericho.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, that one, we've talked about this one a little bit. I know, let me get the ticker right, DXYZ. I know that Brendan was mentioning this one on the big desk a few days ago, and this one was brought up as well. I thought it was an AM. Let's go back to NASDAQ. But yeah, I want to see what this one's doing, because I haven't taken. Now I'm just pressing D1. Come on, Adara. NQ. There we go. Oh, it's an NY. Okay. Well, DXYZ, I guess because it's called Destiny. My Destiny is apparently not finding the appropriate home for DXYZ. Oh, this is a nice look. Whew. So went up $46, 137%.
Wow. Holy. That happened today?
Yeah, I think it's been trading a couple days. I think it started trading in late March. But I have no words for this, because wowee.
Whoa.
It's the daily chart on this guy. When did we start trading? We started trading March 26th.
This is the one with SpaceX in it,
That is
right?
the one with
Yeah.
SpaceX,
Okay, I
OpenAI,
understand
and some
now.
of those like Klarna and Stripe and some of
Yeah.
those payment-related names
I think
as well.
there's a lot of people who are like, when will SpaceX go public? I mean, I would definitely love that IPO, but then if investors and players are finding a vehicle, an asset that does kind of hold some of that company, it is a private company, right? Piling into it apparently here on DXYZ, looking a little bit like like a meme season that we had in 2021, 2022, these kind of moves. Look at that 50 break going 25 points within 30 minutes, and it's still pushing highs on DXYZ. What are we doing not looking at this name here on the day? Oh boy. I got to be trading this one, but up here, all the way up here, a little bit of a chase, I would say, but that 50 consolidation break, you can look at that right there. Look left, look back at it, and that is absolutely beautiful. 48 halves right there at that 48, just underneath that 50, so a little bit of consolidation. VWAP hold as well, holding previous day structure, expanding volume on the daily as well. Take a look at this. Let me refresh this chart right here. Boom. So look at that, a little bit of a high volume, pulls back, can't really break down. Maybe some liquidity trapped underneath that 30 point level as well, $30 level as well. And then look at what happens when we kind of push back in with volume yesterday as we break all-time highs. So definitely looking and smelling like a bit of a liquidity trap on this one, DXYZ. And look at the acceleration that we're getting on the day today. That is an absolutely beautiful move. The squeeze is on this name.
That was a great way to, that was, the squeeze is on. It sounded like a movie trailer. I love that. But yeah, the squeeze is on. Tesla also got a skosh squeeze-esque, which was nice. So I decided to use the opportunity to hop out of the Cybertruck, Jason Bourne style. I had this one was that we were going to try to get out some of this here, just shy of 166s. Happy I did. Then saved a piece for the dream. In the end, the dream was, I think, around 166.15. So pleased as punch. No complaints. Happy I'm out of the Cybertruck. Probably going to leave this one alone unless it comes into levels I like. Because if I think about it, like these trades were just because they were planned in a way that made sense for me. And again, but all of these are off of previous support and resistance. So this was off of this. We had these kind of higher highs, higher low type looks. That's why I got involved, these VWAP bounces. This time it was off of that rejection of that previous support area at that 175.50. And the fact that we had that rejection even after that big move up said to me, you know, Adara, just get involved. So happy I did. And then this last time was, again, just a little support area around, happened to be around this 90 MA, but really it was just around that 165.50 area. I'm really happy I didn't get out because I was very tempted to. I'm not going to lie. It was a bit of a stressful situation for a moment there. But you know, as Sean says, you have to be, scared traders are deficient traders, and you have to be confident, and that's a huge thing I've learned as well, and I know Neil as well saying this in his lessons of the day, and just in general, you have to be able to stick to the plan and also modify it when need be. So my plan was not to leave Tesla, so I stayed in Tesla. Very proud of this trade, down on the day, just because of some of that Nvidia bamboozlement. Happy I got out of that short when I did, though. I didn't get out right when I wanted to, but it's also now another cool $7 to the upside. So NVDA is having an NVD day of positivity here, up about 3%. That would work better in my head. But let's see what else is kind of moving around now. I know Oxy's blasting, says Jean Del Senio.
The oil move.
I know, yeah, oil in general has been really strong. Neil, I know, was involved in ZOM earlier, XOM. Yeah, ooh.
Wow,
Oxy's blasting is right.
Yeah, sorry. That chart is beautiful. And when I see charts like that, I'm like, there looks like a distinct buyer on that. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's okay.
Wow,
it's a great
beautiful
chart.
Yeah.
It is a great chart.
Beautiful chart.
We had this looks like the Nike swoosh. You know what this looks like, Obi?
Oh yeah, just do it. Straight up.
Just do it.
Just do it.
It's a really nice chart there on OXY. Not accidental, this move up on Occidental. Oil's been really strong lately, though, too. I remember even, going through the notes and everything for the market recap show, seeing what kind of stocks we have moving. Pretty much every day, the strongest sector is going to be oil. Energy prices, oil prices, everything's to the high side. Unfortunately, it does come amid a lot of, turmoil right now that we have in the world. But oil is not feeling that. Oil kind of taking this all in stride and actually benefiting from it. So interesting stuff there, that move on Oxy. Also, CADL, John Szymanski was asking about this one. This is Candel Therapeutics. This is day 2 mover, this one. And today, not having the day it had yesterday. It had a pretty nice day yesterday, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so you can see that chart here. This is, Sharif talks about a lot, these small cap gapper charts. To me, this is pretty classic small cap gapper chart. We had that big move up yesterday. Positive metastatic prostate cancer related treatment data, so nice look on that one. They also are 46.65% insider owned, so you know how ARM, some of that move with ARM is benefited by the fact they were 90% owned by SoftBank. Candel Therapeutics feeling a little bit of that as well, so just some context there on that move for CADL, which is having a heck of a 2-day period. This one heading into the weekend saying TGIF. I just noticed that you are tangling with Amazon again.
Yeah, a little bit there. So I do want to do some. I want to tango with this ticker right now. Let's see if that kind of comes in. But I am watching, I guess, ES and a couple other names here. Spider pushing up into that 520. That 520, little interesting piece of price there over the past, I guess, this week. I guess 522 was nice as well. But I'm looking at Nvidia as well. We retraced a little over 50% of the move that we did, that strong flush from yesterday. So a nice little retracement happening there on the slow and steady bid up, that grind up that's happening on these markets right now. So giving back and taking back some of that strong move that we had yesterday, right? So that pressure kind of grinding up. So I don't know what it is, but the reversion is definitely on for a little bit here on a lot of these names. So I'm gonna stay patient. Apple with a high. What is Apple doing? Apple's at that 170 right now. So Apple holding on to some of its pre-market levels here in and around that 170. So I got eyes on that. 170.38 is the high. We did a little bit of a wick on a smaller time frame. Let me pull it up on the 15s here. That's what I got to do. A lot of these charts are on the minute or the 3-minute here. So I will quickly kind of change all of those to the 15, so I get a better perspective potentially on some of these. Because yeah, Amazon's still looking quite strong there. So again, I want to stay as nimble as possible with this one. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine. We'll get out of that one and reassess. And kind of come back to it if and when it does want to come in. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah, sorry, for now we are going to pass over, though, today to the real deal, always the real deal. It's going to be Neil's lesson of the day.
Pissed off, man. The lesson of the day is going to be something about the frustration that we all feel when there's fake news out there.
Okay.
But here's the reality. When you are trading, news can hit the wire at any time. You know, and news can come out on Tesla, or news can come out on Apple, or any given stock from sources that you trust, and the stocks are going to move. But what happens when it's not a real story or the story gets refuted? You're just going to have to be able to have strategies to deal with that reality. Because the truth is, this is just happening. Now, I remember years ago when AP had their Twitter account at the time hacked, and there was a story about an incident at the White House which wasn't true, and it was wild. But that was a hack. This wasn't something that was reported that was fake, and it was easy to tell right away in that incident that it wasn't real. Why? Because you couldn't have had something happen at the White House without multiple people reporting it. There would have been cell phone pictures. So the second you looked up and didn't see, why is there nobody showing footage of apparently smoke coming from the White House that day? Why isn't there anybody but the one account reporting such a big story? It was easy to be able to tell in that moment that it was fake. Now, sometimes you're going to get real news, like right here today, Tesla shares. I got it right on my Benzinga. Shout out to Benzinga for always having news when Reuters reports. You got to be able to get it, and we have to be able to understand how to trade around this. Tesla shares trading lower following reports suggesting the company has canceled low-cost vehicle amid China competition. Now, the part here, Tesla CEO Elon Musk refuted the report. That is after the fact. That's 11:52. I mean, this is about 11 o'clock when all this news started coming out. So, the price action is real at 11. When Elon refutes it is real as well. So I'm going to give you a couple of ways, and there's no perfect answer here, all right? If you trust news sources, like the other day Boeing had negative news, and if you shorted it, you won. It was legit, it was real, it was a real drop in production. In this particular case, what you're trying to avoid is being short the bottom, being trapped at that low of the day. So you have to figure out what bucket you are in. Now, I share the show with Sean, who's a very quick scalp trader. Now, if you were a fast trader, Johnny on the spot, if you're Johnny Ringo or Doc Holliday, then yes, that early entry where you're breaking support at a 167, if you can get trades like that, then everything's happening so fast, not going to matter. No report's going to get refuted in a couple of seconds, right? So that trade is in the pocket. Now, if you're not in that trade, be very careful chasing it. Obviously, if you're short here, and the worst case scenario, your risk is back to where when the story came out, right? I think that we can all understand that. So you're going to have some room for it to work for you. That said, there are some other options if suddenly you find the stock already trading in a range you don't like. And my favorite thing to do is, if you can find a sympathy play that gives you a way to express this move without the same amount of risk. Now, the first two things I pulled up was, okay, well, what is BYD doing in that moment? Now, the problem with that is traded on the OTC, there wasn't enough volume, and then I saw that, wait a minute, no. Chinese EVs all went up on that. What's the one that makes no sense for me that it should continue the move? NIO. Battery swap technology, premium cars. I don't think that would make any sense. If Tesla is going to be getting out of the small car business, that's great for BYD. It's a ho-hum for NIO. So in my opinion, when NIO was going up on that news, I decided to fade that. Now the thing about this here, by looking for an ancillary play like this, is if the Tesla news is fake, and NIO went up on that news, I should win. And on top of that, I got 1 or 2 cents worth of risk. Point number 2, if the news is real, then I'm trading something that I don't feel should have gotten up that much in the first place and was just kind of getting dragged along with it. So I'm putting myself in a situation where I'm not going to chase the Tesla move. Again, if you get it early, no problem. But if it's down at that bottom and you don't want to jam the long because it could be real, then you can look for something which moved on the news that either shouldn't, or on top of that, even better, it benefits if the news is going to end up being fake. So in this particular case, like I said, Tesla was already going. This made one top. This is a 3-minute chart. The key here was that it ran and stopped. Stopped. On a 3-minute chart, this is obviously a good 5, 6, 7 minutes that it's just doing nothing up at that high while everyone's trying to matriculate in the Tesla news. You then just hit the bid as 57 went, and it's essentially, it's a different style of trade, But it's a little bit better, and again, don't get me wrong, if the news had been real, maybe Tesla's at 150. But it's a little better than getting trapped at the bottom there. If you miss the early move, put yourself in a position to be ready to take something else. And trust me when I tell you this, the longer that you trade and the more names that you look at, you get a little bit faster with, oh, if this happens, I also look at this stock. If this move is taking place, oh, wait a minute, I went to BYD, I went to NEO, those first two things that I did. And you get that with experience because you don't want to get trapped at the bottom. Now, the second part of this, and this is not always for the faint at heart, I'm going to put this to a maybe I'll put this to a 1 minute chart on Tesla to see if this will come up. Because once you know that the news is not real, and Elon is like, this is fake news, Reuters is lying again, you know what's probably going to happen here. Now, it's really easy to say, well, if you happen to have the long breaking back the bottom, that's a 160, 160 with $1 worth of risk, and this thing was at $169 when the story hit. That's an easy trade. What you have to remember is this is going to be a huge liquidity vacuum. People are just jumping off of the offer. Treat this as if the news was real here and you were looking for a consolidation entry. Elon has said this is fake. In that moment, treat it as a whipsaw trade, and the second it dips back down, you are looking to buy the dips. Now, obviously, this is going to be a huge, huge volatility event. First move candle up on a 1 minute chart was already $5, $6. The pullback, however, came right back into look at this supply zone here at 164. Remember, the story going nuts, there's 164, there's 164, over, under, but some consolidation when it gets there. There's a wick down into that price. Now you're looking for an entry somewhere in this supply zone, 164 to 165. Like I said, not for the faint of heart. Once it's bouncing through there, you're just trying to get the best available fill in that $0.50 to $1 with your stop underneath. And at that point, you are shooting for 67, 68. You see me scalp to ranges all the time. Like if I'm risking 50 cents, I'm taking $1, I'm taking $1.50. In this particular case, because the story has been refuted, you're looking for the move back at least into this level here, which was the previous low, if not somewhere into that 169. So this is the area that you're trying to get out, because why shouldn't it get back to where business as normal? So you've got to position yourself that if you don't have the early Johnny on the spot, what can you do? There's always other names you can trade. Neo gave an example. If you don't have the long at the bottom, like if you weren't watching the news or had Elon's account up at the moment he refuted it, you probably don't get the absolute bottom. But that little dip back into the supply zone, which you can identify as it's happening to the upside, gives you an entry point, which is now turning into a support level. You're shooting for this range in here, which was the low of the day, into the support that broke. That's the supply zone that I think you want. So it is what it is. It would be nice if you could trust that when news hits the wire, it's going to be good to go. But there are going to be situations where a story is wrong, where a story is instantly refuted, as it was in this case, and you want to prepare yourself for the possibility. You want to arm yourself with some trading ideas and setups and ways to go about avoiding shorting the bottom, avoiding long the top, but also finding a way to play that news, because the volatility is there. As a trader, you want to take action on volatility. So I know it can be frustrating. No one's happy when it happens, but you can be if you arm yourself with the right types of setups when news hits the wire. That's your lesson of the day here. Reuters apparently got it wrong, but that doesn't mean you can't get it right.
There, Neil with dropping some hot lines, spitting some bars, as always, in that lesson of the day. But yeah, what a send-off. I love the slogan-sounding nature of that. So yeah, I mean, there's always ways to get it right, and we're always very lucky to have Neil in there. So thank you so much to Neil for that lesson of the day. Lots of love there in the chat for that as well. So yeah, right now, I mean, I can't believe we're only an hour and a half through, Obi. This market has already been giving you so much in the midday. We've been talking about times of day, and that was a really good example of news that can hit midday and get you a little bit offside. You just have to figure out how to keep going, pick yourself up, and keep trading. This has been Tesla. Speaking of that, Tesla right now trying to come into that 167.50 area. This was that previous support resistance. We'll have to see what we do here. If we reject here, somebody might go short, and that somebody is going to be me. I'm trying to be a little coy about it. I might go short Tesla here. But given that it's Tesla, I do want to see that us try this a couple times before getting involved. This short, you can't tell on the 5-minute, but you can on like the 1 minute. I didn't get short here until I saw that we had already kind of gotten to that level and failed, right? So I definitely, it's not something I want to get involved in unless there is some confluence, shout out to Obi, with which to do so. So I want to be really cognizant here. We are going to get into the lesson one more time, but what are you kind of looking at right now here? How are you doing?
So I did get, like I said before, did get a little short on the Amazon and get stopped out as it pushes fresh highs. So I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. It's not really there yet, not what I'm looking for. Market's pushing up towards its highs as well, and that 185, that was previous day's high, right? So I was like, all right, well, if we're gonna start to slow down a little bit, I'm just looking for a little bit of a chop back down into VWAP, and it doesn't really come through, so that's fine. We'll get back at it if it shows up again, but yeah, no, I'm not really looking at too much else. I'd like, again, I talked about what my top ideas on the day were. They didn't really kind of pan out, so if any other fresh ideas do come in, something I do got to get better at, we're talking about kind of how to plan the day, how to kind of run through the day. I got to write it down if it's a fresh plan and kind of make sure I know why I'm getting into the trade. What kind of trade is it? Does it have any merit relative to my I guess skill set, playbook, toolkit, whatever you want to call it? And does it actually have structure to that to the trade idea? And I find myself that when I don't do that, I'm like inventing trades as I kind of go along the way, and those tend to be a little more disastrous than not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But over time, again, we're talking about journaling and kind of tracking that data. More often than not, those trades don't really keep you on top, is what I've found specifically for my own trading. But yeah, gotta do a little bit better at not inventing random trades just because I like certain things, and really kind of if I do like it. Thanks for the props there. If I do like it, then I do have to kind of write it down and be like, all right, for example, this is a breakout trade. This is my risk. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm absolutely wrong. And this is what I'm looking for. And I write down all that real quickly in short notes, and then I take the trade, right? But something like Tesla, I can't be doing that. I have to be trading on the fly pretty much, and that I think is a skill I'm trying to develop in itself. But intraday news is definitely one of my favorite kind of catalysts there. You just gotta get lost in the sauce a little bit, and it's a pure tape read, and that's what I love the most on those intraday catalyst scalps, like Tesla, for example. So Intel kind of holding back up onto its VWAP on the day here today. So kind of watching that closely. I did kind of add a little bit here underneath that 39 from before, that initial kind of high. But now that we're holding and coasting on top of VWAP, I will kind of keep that in consideration as well. But other than that, I'm not really watching too much else.
Nice, yeah, thank you for going over those, and congrats again for your Tesla trade, because I know you did have that $1 winner earlier. Also, Tesla did reject off the 176.50, but that's okay, that's all right. If it rejects again, I will give it a call, or I'll just get involved. That's what I'll do. But yeah, also, thank you so much to Fabian, killing it over here with the lights. Oh, you can see Obi's hand there. Oh my gosh, you can see her monitors.
Full on
and my way too many cups that I have here off to the side. So, good times. The inside view of Trader TV Live.
Real trading.
Sorry, yeah, real trading.
Real trading.
Puns. Obi killing it with the puns. I'm just going to quickly slide out of this AMD. There we go. We're out of AMD. That wasn't an AM disaster. It just didn't pan out the way that I AM designed. So that's okay. Let's talk about scheduling, though, your trading day. Obi giving us a great transition into that earlier, just talking about ways that you can kind of improve your trading plan as you go, because, of course, that is always of the utmost importance. So basically, getting ready is the first part. There's a sports analogy throughout this, by the way, so go sports. Just kind of a fun pretty apt as well because we just had the March Madness and everything. So first you want to start with getting ready. You want to imagine you're getting ready for a big game or something really important because that's how prop traders start your day or any trader. You want to make sure that you have news. You want to make sure you know what might be moving, see what's happening around the world that could impact the market. You might want to take a look at social media as well or trading apps. Social media, a really key one to keep an eye on as well because we just saw we had that move down with that Reuters story and then Elon Musk putting his getting that X, he X'd out that short quite right away with that X post. Just trying to find a way to make it work. Thank you for the bang button there.
I gotta keep
But he was basically like, oh, I hope he just grabbed the stream deck. But yeah, Elon Musk basically saying, hey, no, that's not real. And Reuters. So then we got to move on again, right? And you could also see what other traders are looking at. If you could search tickers using the $ and the ticker name on Twitter, so you can get a sense of sometimes if things are moving and I'm not sure why, I'll check on there if there's a news story, or maybe there's just some people talking about it, which can also bring some eyes and on the market. So it's always worth checking out as well. Again, not always for news, but to get a sense of what people are talking about sometimes too. Also, you want to make sure you're using scanners and apps as well because scanners can really give you a sense, especially in the morning as I'm making the watch list, what's moving, what's going, and this can change throughout the day as well. We're talking about time of day trading. If there's a midday catalyst, you want to know what's going on. I just was like Edvard Munch scream there. But you want to take a look on Benzinga maybe or on Twitter, see what's happening and get a sense of what is going down in those markets. So that's how you can get ready even throughout the day, as Obi was just alluding to. You can prepare for the trade before you take it, even if you get a last minute catalyst. But once you're ready, how do you map the field and get ready to strike?
Yeah, got to sketch out that game plan, right? So you're looking at those charts in the morning or even the night before. Me personally, I have a whole routine on the weekdays for when I get home. So I'm willing to share. I'll go home. I'll work out for a little bit. Either workout or yoga is something that I started. It's been going on for about 12 weeks straight now. So I was like, again, building that discipline every day, every other day. So I put that in, and and meditating after the workouts as well, right? So I listened to some trading related meditations there. Again, that might not be your cup of tea, but it is what it is. I find that it does kind of help me just a little bit there. And after that, journaling, right? So I kind of work on the journal on the way home, kind of finish it up after the workout, and really delve into some of the charts that we traded today. But yeah, so mapping that stuff out and then getting ready for the next day, right? So getting prepared for the next day. After all of that is done, looking through the charts, what did things do today? Or even in the morning, taking a quick look after the market is open after the 4 a.m. pre-market session, going into the opening session. What are tickers that are moving? What are some things that are doing Arval? What's in play? Catalysts, news, and then mapping out the field, right? Looking for those levels, checking the chart for important prices that you might want to interact with and how you want to interact specifically with those prices. So all of those if-then statements, like for example, if Intel holds or we can just talk about it right now. If Intel holds underneath 40, look for a sustained hold below VWAP and get short along with that. If we look weak on the day, again with the market tailwind, I'm going to be sizing this much more. If I have a sector tailwind, I'm gonna try to size this much more. So I'm trying to get a little bit more specific with that game plan and kind of sketching the field out, sketching the map out of what I'm trying to do with the best ideas that I do have, and that is part of mapping the field.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and also that's really cool, the meditating and the yoga. I mean, Obi has a plan. That's what you need to have a plan when you're trading. And also, I like that you also brought us, we've been talking about the trading day all week, but also Obi's talking about what happens in the evening, your post-trading day, which I think is a really interesting aspect as well. So I really appreciate you shedding some light on that because that's something I haven't really thought about as much as someone who's still pretty new to the markets. And that's something I might want to consider as well. So I really appreciate you bringing that to everybody's attention over here.
I'm a strong believer in most of the work for trading happens off trading hours. So it's like you come in, you're ready to play the game. You're not really like you do the practice. You kind of you have the game plan set up. You have your playbook plays and everything most everything beforehand. And you come in and you're calm. You're not doing too much thinking, and you're just kind of trying to follow the plan and push your ideas, protect the mental. There's a lot of other things that do need to be focused on. So yes, I think the off hours is very, very important.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, I really, muy important. So I appreciate you going over that there. Also, Sean in an Nvidia short. Sean, where did you get short Nvidia? Oh, yay. Okay, I love playing the game, so I'm going to try to yell at that, but I have so much fun doing this. So let's go Nvidia, 5 minute. Okay. Ooh, okay. Did you get short? Around or abouts 883.62. 884.
Nice.
I'm just gonna snap because because I was like, oh, that's an amazing. The high of day for context is 884.84. So Sean took that 44 pennies shy of the high of day and is now a cool almost $4 into the esteemed Dollar Trade Club. Okay, thank you. So it will be put here, and oh, there we go. We can look at it in Twitter. So we're gonna look here as well. There we go. This is. We'll zoom in.
Nice.
Sean's tweet. He's debating getting out at 880. This is a great look. Congrats there to Sean on that Nvidia short. He had to average up into it. Yeah, that's something I was learning yesterday as well. And again, I was saying to Sean yesterday too, I appreciated the help with the reload because I think sometimes as long as you have a plan and it's within reason, you can totally add to a trade and make it, I can't think of a way to say here, but just add to it and kind of get ready for it. Because I think my biggest thing is I would always get out the second something went a little bit, not in the direction I thought it needed to. But sometimes you want to have those reloads and be patient. So Sean says go. So Nvidia is going a little bit here. We're approaching that 880. Pardon? 877 bid. Here we go. Whew. Money.
Nice.
Nice there. Congrats to Sean on that one. Sean partying there with Nvidia. He had that Tesla short for you earlier. Also, yeah, really quickly before we get back to the lesson, Brad Gober asking about the wicks on MU. So a lot of these are going to be, this is so dark pool wicks. We talked about this in a previous How to Trade. I also believe that Obi was a part of it as well. I think that was when Sharif was not present. But basically some of the, there we go. Check out How to Trade. You can check out past lessons using that URL. But so some of these dark pool wicks, it's when you have dark pool or institutional investors, hedge funds, trying to get a piece of the action as well. Sometimes when those orders hit, it can show up. Like we didn't actually touch this price. It's just that that's where the order was fulfilled. So that's kind of what that means. It can distort the charts a little bit. That's not a great example. You can go and find that in our previous How to Trade lessons. Basically, these dark pool trades manifest as wicks. So there we go. Let's talk as well, though, about game time. So once you have all of the planning, once you've done the planning, as Obi mentioned, it's so important to plan before you even get to the field. Now it's go time. So now that you have your time to go, traders, you want to stick to your plan. As Neil was mentioning his lesson of the day a couple days ago, stick to your plan, but be prepared to adapt if you need to. As Michael Scott from The Office once said, adapt, react, readapt, act. So you want to really have that in mind in case you want to have a plan, but you want to be ready to change it just a little bit if need be. And also, once you've got your plan, you have to know what kind of play works best for you and know when to jump in. So that's where I think the whole aspect of time of day, which was the theme this week, really comes into play as well. I know I'm a little bit biased in that I only trade here on the midday, but I do find that midday trading is the type of trading I like, at least for right now, because it's a little bit rangier, a little bit more like calm and subdued, and you have previous levels that you can work off of. Whereas traders like Sean and Neil, people who trade off the open, they know exactly what they want to see. They're prepared for those big moves up. So really you have to know what kind of trader you are, and a lot of that can play into the time of day because as we've gone over this week, different times of day can give you different types of trading opportunities. So there we go, that's the game time. But then once you're done the game time, you want to review.
Yeah. Going back into what I was talking about before. So review and that off-hour kind of time that you're spending to work on your trading, definitely very, very valuable and a key integral part of, I think, getting better every day and kind of working on your craft as a trader. So post-game review, after the market closed, it's time to think about how the day went, right? What worked, what didn't. Keeping a journal helps you remember those lessons, right? It's all about getting better for the next game day. So review your trades, learn what you did wrong, what you did right, and then maybe even talk to a few other traders about said trades. If you have any questions or concerns, again, it's always good to kind of bump heads with other traders and be like, what did you think of this, and how did you kind of view certain things and perspectives on trades that I might have taken or they might have taken. So that's always a good kind of habit to have. And again, keeping a journal helps you track your progress. So you have some sort of a substance, a base to go off of to kind of when you're self-evaluating your trading. You're like, okay, well, why did I do this? If you just kind of have like a P&L record and you're like, okay, well, I made money on this name on this day, but no real details as to how or why or what the plan was, what the playbook was, what worked really well, then yeah, you don't really have that much of a base to really start getting confident in what you're doing, right? So as a result, if I've found that if you're kind of achieve that consistency, which we all are, and kind of look for that consistent, steady P&L curve, and trying to build yourself towards becoming that kind of trader, I think journaling and that off-hour time is definitely a key part of your daily schedule.
Yeah, I think that's really key too as well. And also what's great to hear is we have people from the chat getting involved too. We have Elon saying, hi Adara, just to share my experience about the game time. If one trade didn't work at first, sometimes we're just too early and you have to be patient and to wait. Good luck. Thank you. Good luck to you, Elon. And thank you so much for that. I love when people are sharing, their experiences, because that's what's so great about having this community, and also to go off of what Obi was just saying as well. I feel, even though I am new and still in the sim, I feel like it's been really great because I can always talk to people on the floor and we can exchange trades, and I feel like there's a lot to be learned from that. So I feel always really lucky to be part of that. And there's a lot of that happening in this community too as well on YouTube, so I think that's really powerful. Also, shout out to this community on YouTube. If you have anything you want to ask Sean and Brendan on the podcast, or anything that you want them to talk about, any kind of funny little anecdotes or anything like that that Sean can bring, please tag me with that, and then I will put them in we'll put those aside. But also, I'm going to ask again near the end of the day in the chat. So we do want to make sure we have some audience engagement in the podcast, because that's always important. So if there's anything you guys want Sean or Brendan to talk about, or any funny little questions, funny little things, please tag me. But that is not the extra tip. This is the last part of this lesson. Extra tips, you really want to figure out your trading style, right? I think that's huge. And so you have to know yourself as a trader, because that is also going to tie in time of day, as I was saying earlier, right? So if you want something a little bit more fast-paced, maybe you're a bit more of an open trader, or you might want to trade the close. You also, as Elon was saying there very astutely in the chat, you do want to be patient. If it's not your type of day, if it's not your type of move, sit back, sit on your hands and wait. That's something I'm really bad at, admittedly, and trying to work on. But that's what we're all here to learn. So that is the lesson. We're going to repeat that one more time later in the day. But yeah, what a day we've had so far. How are you doing with Intel and Amazon?
I am being patient, as you just mentioned, a very key thing to do. Kind of, so I might be maybe not being as patient as I'd like to be. I'm just saying that right now. But Amazon may be potentially turning here. I have no idea. But the futures kind of a little bit of a slowdown here. It is also almost 1 p.m. So again, a few different things. I'm watching some confluence across the board here. Let's see what the spider does again with that 520 as well. With that 520 as well, and yeah, just still in that Intel. Intel is holding that VWAP area as of right now. So I do want to respect that piece of information that's happening there. I am kind of counter trending this move on Amazon with these shorts, but yeah, let's see if it'll come in. I have no idea when or if it'll come in, but we are reverting a decent chunk of yesterday's move, right? So we talked about here. I can just pull it up on the chart. Let me pull up Amazon specifically here, and we can take a quick look at that. I do kind of need to look left as well. So here on the 15-minute chart, look at that. So yesterday, so Amazon has reverted over 100% of yesterday's move, but futures not as much, right? So let's take a look at that as well. So quickly moving over to the NQ here, you can see that strong quadunk with that strong volume. Look at that. That was about, I think it was about 300. Okay, so this is saying about 500 points. 450 points to the downside, and then off of the open, let's just take the bottom of that, just a rough measurement. We've done about 270 points off of this kind of rush reversion that we were having, 18.4 potentially coming up right now, but we are kind of just over that 50% retracement mark on the NQ today. So I am a little bit fighting the trend for sure. I do accept that. I do realize that. So stops are set accordingly for that. And if and when the move does come in, I do want to get as aggressive as possible with the sizing and also adding responsibly to the position, right? That's all part of the plan there on the Amazon. But let us know what you guys are trading. House to Home saying Salesforce is up 8 points. Okay, that Salesforce is CRM, I think. Yeah.
Also,
okay.
too quickly as well, thank you to Todd McLean for putting this in the chat. I'm seeing this here as well. Fed's Bowman saying that it's unlikely, but the Fed may have to hike rates again to cool inflation. So not likely, but the Fed might have to cut rates again to cool inflation. Although there are some pops up in some of these names, so the market's not super reacting to this. That is coming out from Fed's Bowman, so I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry to cut you off there. Obi, yeah, I am in a Microsoft short. Ash just saying this here too. So why I got involved is we've had lower highs and lower lows. To me, it feels like, I don't know how long I'll be in here for, but I want to kind of stay in here for the time being and see what happens. Yes, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens here in the Microsoft. And see what happens here. I don't want to get out right now unless we kind of make this newer high. Initially, I will admit my instinct on shorting Microsoft here is really flawed because I was only looking at 1 minute. But on the 5 minute, to me, Microsoft does look a little bit weak here, at least for the time being. If we keep seeing lower highs, I have another potential area to add here around 70s. We're going to have to see. But yeah, sorry, CRM, I know you were mentioning there. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, CRM. And I think he's also saying Amazon headed higher, bro. All right, House to Home. Yeah, it does look like it might be poised to head a little bit higher there. But again, like I said, I do understand and realize I'm being slightly cheeky with the short there. But yeah, CRM, wow. Wow, look at that one. 8 points to the upside. That 300. Look at this kind of this action here. That's definitely interesting to me, where you have a strong flush right off of the open. I don't know what catalyst this may have had yesterday. Wasn't really watching it, but that flush off the open does look like it may have been catalyst driven on CRM there. So let's take a quick look at okay, insider sold shares worth 4.5 mil, according to a recent SSE filing. That was 20 hours ago. So maybe that was that seller off of the open there, maybe. But beta availability of Einstein Copilot for Tableau. I don't think that's it right there. But regardless, whatever the news might have been, that was a strong volume flush off of the open. And take a look at where we bounce off of today, just above that. And look at this, reclaim of this interesting little flat shelf, which happens to confluence with closing prices as well. So right back through that area and then bidding right back up. And where do we stop? I have no idea, but a little bit of an interesting level right here. Look at that selling start to get really aggressive off of that 303 halves, about a point away from that one on CRM. So nice point out there. It is quite strong on the day, which reminds me, let's take a quick look at the map. Call me Dora here. Hold on.
You're going to explore it?
Yeah, I'm going to explore this map right here.
I love that.
Okay, so if I can just pull it up properly. Let's see right here. Boom. Full screen. Let's go. Okay, so right here, so pretty much green across the board except for Intel, hello, and Tesla, and also Micron as well. So pretty green across the board, looking distinctly different than how we closed yesterday. So a lot of reversion action happening on a larger time frame. Well, maybe just over the past couple of days there. Let's see who the top ones are. Meta. I know that Meta was pushing all-time highs yesterday. Let's take a quick look at what Meta's up to today. Boom. All right, so 530. Yeah, okay, so we just lick grabbed yesterday's high on Meta, and we are pulling back just a tad bit. Is the trend broken? I don't know. Let's throw up a moving average. Maybe that's a good indicator usually to kind of define some trend here. So let's see. Let's just show up. Let's do an EMA. Yeah, okay, cool. That's a 9. So, all right, I like the 9. I like the 8 as well. You can see what happens when that trend breaks yesterday. Quite a distinct little flush. And remember, it's just an indicator. It's just a line on the chart. It doesn't mean too much, but it can give you some direction as to kind of and direction and confluence as well, right? So. little bit of a pullback here, selling kind of coming in and around that same place that it did yesterday. You see the initial kind of flush in and around those same areas. You try to break, you attempt the break, you only go about 60 pennies here. What's the high on this candle? I got 530.70. What's the high from yesterday? I got 530 to the T. So you only go about 70 pennies on a $500 ticker, and then you pull right back in on previous day highs. So let's see if some of that selling, if it's real, if those sellers can kind of come back in on the Meta as well. So Meta looking quite nice. Let's see if it'll give that move to us twice off that 530 there. On the day. Futures going a little bit sideways. You can see that strength. Look at these candles. Bang, bang, bang. Very, very long and strong candles. And then when we get up here, we're going a little sideways. And look at this muted action. Each one of these candles pretty much inside of each other. So a little bit of a slowdown of that morning momentum. Now we could just consolidate and continue with another leg at the end of the day, or we could take a pullback. I have no idea. I'm going to be patient and I'm going to continue to observe some of this price action here. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading today, and maybe we can take a look at some of those names as well.
Yeah, look, there's so many things here. Someone PLTR says chase bands, so it looks like you are successfully chasing those bands on PLTR. Let's take a look at this one. Let's see. Let's look at use our crystal ball or our Palantir to see what's happening in Palantir. Oh, I accidentally went to a yearly chart. Okay, let's switch to the 5-minute. There we go. This is a nice look. So we're seeing right now higher highs, higher lows. To a slightly higher high here. What's interesting too, though, is we kind of come here, we get a topping tail candle, we fall lower, we fall below that previous area of resistance, resistance at 22.85. We do not find it as support. We find support slightly below. Then we kind of roll back up here, and then we make a slightly higher high. I still think this could be a potential resistance area here at this 23.30, and I say that because look where we had that kind of topping tail area. But as long as we have higher highs and higher lows, I think it's probably a nice look here for Palantir. That rhymed. I like that. We have also SoFi. Some people mentioning SoFi, House to Home Plus, and also some other people I think in the chat earlier as well mentioning SoFi. SoFi did have an analyst upgrade. I think Neil alluded to that earlier today. But this one was upgraded by Keefe, Bruyette, and Woods to market perform with a $7.50 price target. So yeah, this is a nice little curl to the upside here. Kind of similar look to Palantir, but I would say the higher highs are a lot more defined on this SoFi. So far, SoFi, as I think Sean once said, or SoFi, so good, I think is what Sean said on the SoFi once. But I think this is, not a bad look at all. Again, too, if there's any things you want to be talked about on the podcast, just tag me and let us know about that. Right now, Microsoft short, sort of working out here. Please just punch. Did not reload exactly where I wanted to. Should have probably reloaded a little bit higher. But say la vie, we're basically flat on this one right now. I would love to see us break below this area here. Also, Chase Bands, thank you so much for the $2 super chat saying, yes, long. Thank you, $sign. So it sounds like you are in the money. So we will, of course, give you a shout out and a clap for that. Tobes T saying Nicola 3 times. So let's take a look at Nicola. Up about 6% on the day. Oh, this is Nicola gets wild volume. Wow. Nicola, 63.4 million shares. This is a little barcodey for me, I'm going to have to say.
What's happening at that 101?
I was going to say 101. Yeah. There is something in the water here at 101. Or something in the hydrogen truck. I don't know. Something's pushing it down the hill at 101.
That 101, bit of a reserve, it would seem. Some resistance.
Yeah,
something else was looking like this as well. What was that one with the 21?
Levi's.
Levi's with the distinct reserve happening there as well. So kind of similar action, but this is happening on a 15-minute and NKLA doing that wick dance off of that 101. So clearly a potential seller there. You know what? I do want to pull it up on the tape to just to see what's going on here. So let's just take a quick look at Nicola. Boom. There is your answer, guys. Look at that size sitting at 101 relative to whatever is sitting underneath it. That is distinctly different. It cannot get through. How many lots are those? 5,000, 4,000, 4,000 on another one. Actually, that might be the same book. Yeah, so I sometimes I got some doubles on there. I do have to get rid of those. That both the NSB and the NSDQ are both the NASDAQ book. You can see the size is exactly the same. So we've got 5 plus 4 plus 2, and then maybe like a couple more there. Wow, so over 10,000 lots sitting at 101 on the ask, but take a look at how distinctly different that bid is relative to that ask. So yeah, it seems like that's being defended. That is a wall if I've ever seen one. And not only are they sitting at 101s, you got size at 102s, you got size at 104s, 106s, 108s, 109s. So not only is a wall, it's back-to-back barriers on top of that 101. So it seems like this thing looks like it's trading like a really tight in a really tight range there, just off of that. And the bidder is kind of maybe stepping up as well at that $1 mark. So interesting action going on Nikola there. Yeah,
Nikola, what really interesting one. Certainly some weird, like I said, some force pushing it down to from the hill at that 101 area. Shout out to Francisco Herrera for noticing that one. Also, Steph B says, please look at the book on Nvidia. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some kind of slower movement happening here between 881 and 882. I mean, this is one that I've looked at a lot, this book, and I find it usually moves a little bit faster than this. So this could be either we're trying to find some support here, or we're kind of building up to have some potential resistance. A little bit hard to read the move on this. But also, I know, shout out, Obi and I were talking about this once, and Obi was saying, you know, if you look at a book for a long time, that you notice when it moves in a, I'm going to use your terminology, distinctly different way.
Yep.
And so I think this, you're right, Steph B, there's something in the water here in Nvidia. I notice we get to like 881, 88s, and then we curl back down a little bit. So I think Nvidia is gearing up for something. Slightly lower highs here. This is on the 5-minute chart too, so it's worth noting slightly lower highs, but certainly the 884 area, a lot of resistance here. This could be a little bit compressed because we are holding this 881, 88 level remarkably well. But will we continue to? We're gonna have to wait and see here, because I think that you're right. There's something really interesting here. Thank you for bringing the book here on Nvidia to my attention, because I find reading the book to be a really interesting way of getting a sense of how things are moving. When I first started, I was like, "What's a book?" and mostly read the chart. But I know too, like the way that, because I did a couple lessons as well with Brankel's. Shout out to Real Trading, and Brankel's was really like, you know, you have to look at the book to kind of see your points of entry and stuff, and that was, I think, really important for me and really helpful to me. Nvidia is still holding on to the 881, but you're right, there's something really interesting here. So thank you very much, Steph B. Thank you so much to Stan. Great day so far, guys. Keep it up. Keep it up, everybody here. Like, this is great. This is so much fun. I hope everybody's having a great time learning a little bit, interacting. We had Sean with that killer Tesla and Nvidia trade. Obi had a Tesla trade. I did not have the big Tesla move down, but I was dancing around a little bit there. Also, Tesla, look at this pop here. This was a bit of a consolidation move up. I wouldn't say even maybe a mini bull flag from the bottom of this 165 area. Then we pop to the upside. Next area of resistance for me to keep an eye on is that 169. That 169 was a massive bottom here earlier around that previous VWAP. Let's see what we do here. And I know as well, I think it was shout out to Quan in the chat saying sometimes that these previous levels of resistance and support in previous areas kind of get ignored or thrown to the wayside when you have a catalyst-based move like what happened with Tesla. However, the one thing I do agree with that, and that's why I was so hesitant to take that short. But also, I took that short because Tesla did actually respect this level. So Tesla has actually been respecting these levels here on the day, even with that move down, because we did have that support earlier at 167.50, which became resistance. So I do think, as much as it can be very accurate, I think Tesla is, you know, we call it stressful for a reason. So Tesla's like, oh, usually I don't follow levels, but I will after I had this major catalyst. So I think that is something to keep in mind with Tesla. I don't think it's just nothing that we go from just shy of 161 right back to our previous area of support. So let's find out. Thank you so much, Jake MKCK here in the chat. I cannot say that, it's a lot of letters, but thank you very much to you. Definitely, people, feel free to give a like and a subscribe if you're having a good time over here, because I don't want to speak for Obi as well, but I think we're having a lot of fun here on this How to Trade. And again, shout out to Obi for killing it this whole week. We have the fun sports-themed lesson of the day today. Go sports. We're going to go over that. Go sports. We're going to go over that in a little bit. We did the second one a little late, so we're going to wait a little bit, but we're getting close to 1. I can't believe only 1 hour left of this trading day. Microsoft getting a bit rangy. You should have taken out some of this earlier, but I have no reason to leave. We're still seeing lower highs, lower lows. I'm trying to take it slow. Cash flow. Cash flow. And I'm not Kevin O'Leary, but you know Kevin O'Leary, who was on a show and did get interviewed by Sharif, so that was really cool, and Neil and Sean as well. So really cool time. Let's see if the cash flow can take it a little less slow here in Microsoft. I would like to kind of see this continue to happen. Right now, I'm happy with this short, though. No complaints there, no regrets either. Shout out to the Millers. What are you looking at?
I'm not really looking at too much there. I did pull up Tesla now that you mentioned it. It is kind of you said that it's kind of respecting levels and thing like that. Well, with the volume that comes in, and then all of a sudden it's definitely in play, and it starts to behave in a little bit of I guess a more predictable manner, if that's something you want to if that's how I want to put it. But again, it has that spike in R vol, right? We look at for that R vol, that relative volume for when stocks are in play, and look at that intraday catalyst brings in that R vol and gives you some great opportunities where a significant portion of the intraday float is offside below that day low, and then you kind of come into the week low, and then you rip right past off of that week low. So maybe trapping some players getting a little too excited too fast off of that week low break as well, and then on the little rip right back up again, putting anybody and everybody who was short initially, which was a great idea, kind of underwater now that we're kind of revisiting and going back to that reference price of 170 on Tesla there. So I did get stopped out of the Amazon once again. So again, like I said, I admitted before, I am fighting the trend, and that's I did accept that. I accepted the risk. So I'm not gonna play around with it too much more. I'll let it actually break down and show me that sellers are kind of back in action today. If they choose to be, I got to react and not really anticipate. I was reacting to some selling there, but again, it's not the right side of the move. We're still trending above VWAP, so I know I'm being a little bit cheeky with that one. And of course, the futures slamming to the upside there, very aggressive kind of bidding action, slow and grindy, but aggressive nonetheless. And there it goes through that 186. There are some fresh highs on a lot of these names now as the futures push towards their highs as well, and then Tesla bidding up also. 520 coming in on the SPY as well. So I do like that, what is this, the 521, 522-ish level. That selling yesterday started off of that 523-ish area as well, 523.80s, I think, on the spider itself. So let's see if those sellers kind of come back in. If we do get above and hold, I think that maybe some short-term shorts maybe getting a little sweaty. Again, it is a Friday. We are we're coming off of a long weekend as well, yeah, I'm just curious to know how we end off this week, right? It seems like yesterday had us thinking that, oh boy, we're gonna kind of close heavy red on the day or on the week, and then all of a sudden today we're reverting a decent chunk of that move. And I'm taking a look at some of these other tickers like Amazon, which have reverted more than 100% of the sell-off of yesterday. So that's kind of maybe that's pointing me in the direction of relative strength on a bigger picture on something like Amazon. Amazon's trading 186s, all-time high is 188. Now, what can poise Amazon to push through that 188? You might need some buying pressure. How do you create some of that buying pressure? That shake and bake from yesterday and today might just be that buying pressure we need to push those all-time highs on the Amazon itself, only about 2 points away from that. And if the markets will have us and we break through that 18.4 and we get to that 18.5, oh boy, can Amazon do about 2 points within the day there. But I'm going to stay observant. Let's see if it comes into fruition today. We could get that end-of-day squeeze that we've been talking about this past week or so, and seems like that little bit of a shake and bake from yesterday and today can have us poised for a bit of a squeeze. We already see that grindy buying pressure happening on a lot of these tickers that have broken past yesterday's highs and yesterday's flush levels as well.
Yeah, I think things get really spicy. I also, I tried to dance with Amazon here. We lost about 10 pennies. It was basically, if we break above this 186, I'm out. We did. I was out. As Neil was once saying, your losing trade should be boring. And thankfully this is. So all good there. I also, Amazon making new highs every day. Wow, she's like swinging
the market
on the
just
vines
started
to the
to rip.
upside.
We went right into 18.4.
Whew. So you're right, the market did have us. You said if the market has us at 18.4, there we go.
Yeah, I mean.
Market was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The market was answering you. It was like, yes, okay, why not?
I don't know about that, but yes, it seems like that rush came in quite quickly. We talked about that range that was forming, right? So we slowed down for a little bit, three of these 15-minute candles, quite muted, and then look, right through the high of that range, snaps right up into that 18.4, accelerating with that kind of pressure coming in to the ask there as the bidders kind of push right into the, I guess, the market tickers themselves and across the board it would seem. So Spider did come into that 520, and then the ES is pushing or trying to push into that 5,300 as well, only about 30 points or so away from that level right now. So the markets are strong. We are pushing past some of yesterday's levels as well. I'm looking at Nvidia also, so right here. So yeah, exactly, Sean. They came right back. Yeah, as if it didn't even matter, as if nothing happened. A little.
Up more today than it was down yesterday.
The market is up more today. Yeah. Yeah, it was only down. We're up almost 2%. Sean's pointing out that we are up a lot more today than we were down yesterday, and those are straight facts on that one. And yeah, market super strong, grinding up. I guess the shorts definitely not the right way. And did I get stopped out 3 times? Well, not yet. The 3-strike rule has not hit, but I did get stopped out twice. One of them did work out for a little bit, so I guess I'll count that one as the rest of that position I did break even on. So I will stay a little bit away from that and maybe wait for some signal on the tape, maybe some change in the flow to really kind of catch the reversion. But until then, it seems like the long is very on, Adara.
Yeah, see, I agree, except look at Tesla. I said, Adara, you got to watch what we do at 169. Fortunately, I missed the boat a little bit on this one. But we're not going to get down. Where's the next trade? If we get into 75s, I have a resting order ready. But this is a crazy example because, as someone was saying in the chat, it's very rare that when you have these big moves down or these big random movements, especially catalyst-driven like this, that we respect levels. And Tesla was like, yeah, but I'm Tesla, so I will respect my old levels. Thank you very much. And that's what it did. We came to that 169, which was a huge area of support earlier, and we, bye. A little bit of flip to the downside. I probably should get rid of any resting order I have here. I want to be a little bit more cognizant and on the balls of my toes here, on my feet, ready to get involved, ready to strike. I should have been a little bit more active on this. The second I saw that we had this red candle here, look at this massive flat top on the 5-minute at this 169. Adara, what are you doing, girl? But that's okay. All you can do is learn here. If we reject again, that's when the trigger fingers are gonna get ready. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. As Drake once said, Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers. We had that whole news with Elon on Twitter, so now I might have to pull the trigger here on this short. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna try to get it at 6.9s here. Let's get involved. Let's get involved. What are we doing? I'm just gonna. I can't just sit here and watch and say Drake lines. I have to get involved in this trade. So if we get back up into 69s, I think that's very plausible. We're getting into this short, and we're going to try to be taking it into that 168 area if Tesla will have us. Also, so happy I got out of the Microsoft short when I did. Man, oh man. I was basically, we made a higher high. I said, bye-bye. Got out about 80s, I think, that 425.80. So lost about 20, 30 pennies on this. Was trying to make it at least like that 425. So it was going to be about a 50 penny winner. So risk to reward was fine on that. In the same 5-minute candle, we have the to the upside. So of course, very happy I got out where I did. Just waiting for Tesla. I'm still going to have that order in place. I've noticed we failed enough times that I feel very comfortable just waiting and kind of sitting and having, hopefully Tesla will swing open the doors and let me into the Cybertruck. Maximus earlier was asking us about AMD. I've tried this name a couple times. We had a successful fill here and then a couple, You know, a bit of a fumble there later, but I feel like with AMD, the timing on this one has been super key, but this one has been so bamboozling. Like look at this. We come in here, we make higher highs, higher lows. I try to get involved here in the long. We end up having to get out because we had that big move down. That was kind of when Tesla was sending everything to the downside a little bit as well with that initial news. Then we pop back up here. We followed the previous kind of resistance. I say, you know what, let's go short. And AMD was like, why would you think that? I'm still a long. So AMD has been certainly an interesting one. You have to watch what we do with the 90 MA because that's when things get really bamboozling. We'll form a support, then we'll kind of dip below, then we'll come back to form a support again. Could we be forming a double top right now in AMD? Only time will tell, but this doji candle here at that 172.40 could get mighty interesting. Something I want to keep my eye on for sure, though I will be very careful before AM dancing with AM danger because this has just not been my name today. I do want to see, though, what we do. I think this flattish top is something I might want to get involved. Use the wrong little symbol there. This is something I might want to get involved in within reason and with caution. I didn't take any of these AMD plays with huge size because AMD can be a little bit bamboozling, so you do want to be cautious, but I think there could be something in the water here on AMD. Should I time it right? Because my timing, someone was saying 2-1s in the chat, which I appreciated. It's not the issue is timing, the issue is the direction, which I think is a valid point. So if I get my timing right and I get the direction perfect,
Yeah.
we'll have to see what happens. How are you doing?
I think that was a big thing that was kind of pointed out at the conference in New York, where it was just like, okay, well, you can't just be right about the idea, about the direction. You also have to have the timing as well, and that's crucial to kind of a successful good trade, right? So that's a good point there. And I think something else as well. Darwin pointing something interesting out in the chat. Fed speakers, geopolitical concerns, earthquakes, Elon, etc. cannot hold the market down. Yes, that seems to be very, very true today. So a lot of things not really stopping this market, can't stop, won't stop, as it just kind of rages to the upside there on the day. So yeah, that is very, very true. I think somebody else in the chat was pointing out iRobot, and I did pull that one up. iRobot looking quite interesting here as it is testing that little shimmy dance that it did a couple days ago. I think it was, what was it, on Apple? I think it was on the Apple News, where they were like, oh, well, Apple is gonna discard the Apple Car idea, and now they're gonna move on to AI vacuum robots or something, AI robots, and then iRobot got a little bit of a move. That's some interesting piece of news there. So you trash the car, then you go to vacuums. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Anyways, so iRobot got that nice little wick dance there. So maybe defining some potential levels with that volatility. And look at that. That's coming right in on a strong bid on the day, right into that reference point of that news or whatever that we got a couple days ago. What is the high there? 933. What is the high today? 933. So we're only about 4 pennies away from that high on iRobot. So I'm not really trading this. I didn't really have eyes on, but thank you for pointing us in this direction. That definitely looks a little interesting there. Okay, hello. Yeah, so definitely a little interesting on iRobot. Maybe a little bit of a pullback or even a breakout. What's the volume doing? Oh boy, look at that expanding volume going into that high. I like that. I like that. I have no idea what it'll do, but I definitely think that that changes some probabilities around indeed. So here comes Amazon with a little bit of a strong sell. I hesitated to take it again at the 186s. But the market coming in off that 18.4. So we kind of talk about those 100-point levels. If they do kind of respect, maybe that's something to be watching out for. But you know what? Like Amazon, like I said, I'm going to be a little bit more patient. Sure, we're selling off quite nicely off of that. But we've done a little bit of this over and over again, and that's where I got caught off guard. Like, look, strong sell, I get in. Strong, well, maybe not a strong sell, a little bit of a chase there. Don't do that. So strong sell, kind of get in. Strong sell, I'm like, oh, do I get in? Don't make that mistake again. Let's wait for that trend to actually break and maybe retest, and we get some confluence and confirmation for some of those, some of that price action as well. So let's see if that comes into fruition there on the Amazon, but the market does look like it is poised for a little bit of a pullback. We talk about that range, and we're coming slamming right down into that range. So that range low What is that range low? In and around, just underneath 18,330s is that little wick low on this 45-minute slowdown that the NQ had. And then what is that point on the ES? You can see that we're already testing that level on the ES, the little wick that we had down in the 5260s-ish, 5258 I'm seeing right there. So let's see what we do in and around that level. Do we still hold? That was an interesting range. Do the markets take a little bit of a pullback there? Seems like the spider pulling back off of that 520 as well.
And we put it in the chat about 10 minutes.
Okay, so Sean put it in the chat 10 minutes ago that he was short the TQs.
Oh,
and
nice.
Take a look at that. We are
That's a
coming
nice
right back
move.
in. Off the 18.4? Off the 18.4. Nice. Levels. There's levels to this.
What are we even doing? And here, I'll put it in the thing.
Can I guess the entry price?
We cheated. Yeah, I put in the chat.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna not look. 60. Do we doing 60 85s?
89.
Oh,
Pretty proud. Thank you.
nice. 4 pennies off.
There we go. I'm redeeming myself from the Nvidia snafu. There we go. We got this. But yeah, so yeah, Nvidia kind of looking interesting actually here. I just wrote Nevada, so Nevada without a W, or Nevada doesn't have a W, Adara. So I wrote Nevada without an E. Oh my gosh, it's a Friday, guys. But look at this range.
It's been a long week.
Yeah,
It's been an eventful week.
It's been a very eventful
Yes.
week in these markets. Look at this range on Nvidia. Girl, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, Nvidia.
It's so tempting. Like people were like, "Oh, can you pull up the Nvidia book?" And I'm like, "No, I cannot have that on my screen. I'm gonna be punching into some interesting and enticing price action if I have that book on my screen." Again, we talk about kind of managing the risk. I need a little bit of a wider risk if I want to play with if I want to tangle with the Nvidia. But we can take a look at NVDL as well, right? NVDL kind of a more muted, more riskable kind of variant or vehicle to trading that Nvidia as well. You can see we can take a quick comparison and look at that range that's been kind of happening, right? So let's just go down to the 3-minute and let's compare NVDA to NVDL. Right, so you can see bang, 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 a little bit of a chop. Look at this range. Like if I just go to, what's the largest candle here? Okay, so right here, I think this green candle right here, this is a 3-minute. You know what? Let's make it even simpler. We'll go to the 1-minute. What's the largest 1-minute candle that we see? So it's probably going to be in there. So right here, what's the low there? The low is 865.60, and the high is 870.30. Right? So just under a 5-point move within 1 minute. Right? So if you're offside and it does a 5-point move real quick, oh boy, is that daily risk getting tested real fast. But take a look at NVDL. So that same kind of move is obviously not going to do just under 5 points, but that same candle on NVDL, look at the low there, 88.03, the high, sorry, 38.03, and the high is 38.40. So what is that? It's just under 40 pennies of a range. So yeah, sure, that is quite wide, but if you kind of hold down your sizing and size respectively to the kind of the price, the movement, the range, the volatility of this ticker, and kind of size down a little bit there as well, and you are not taking as big of a hit on this name versus if you're in Nvidia, something that goes against you 5 points, you can take some strong hits even on some small size on something like that. Whereas NVDL, much more straightforward to manage risk within that same given volatility that NVDA has. So. Like I said, I do get kind of tempted into certain price action. Certain price action is very like, okay, well, in my opinion, I think that in the short term, this has a high probability of doing this based off of that price action that just happened, and I'll punch into the trade. And that's an impulsive action. So that's why I kind of keep that Nvidia off of my screens there. But NVDL and NVDA taking a wee bit of a pullback as the spider breaks that range low. Let's see if the NQ follows in step here. Maybe it's time to start this short on Amazon, but I will stay a little bit more patient.
Yeah, I mean, patience is key, which is what happened to me getting a little bit too early out of Tesla. But the other part of me was like, Adara, is Tesla? You might want to, not look a gift horse in the mouth. as someone who sits over on that desk whose name is Neil sometimes says. So I was happy with this. I'm pretty happy with this trade, I have to say. Tesla has been bestla for me today. This is my best name, which is, you know, I always feel it's pretty happy with it. But also with there, it's not like, oh, like Tesla's giving me some gift. It's because these were the best planned trades. And that's what I need to think about it with as well, right? So I was taking these ranges earlier. Then I was taking, I mean, a little bit of luck here too, because for me to get out right before that move down was, someone was saying it's a combination of, you know, opportunity, right? So that was very much partially luck, and I want to acknowledge that I got out there where I did. But also, then we have, you know, this short, which is, again, taken off previous levels, and we take this long off previous levels. So it's like a Dara. It's not just because, like, you were some, you know, lucky person with Teslas, because these are the best planned trades. And that's what you need to keep in mind. You should be planning all trades, like how I was planning these Tesla trades. So, yeah, pretty happy with these. All good there. Also, it's 1:15. So it's time.
It is time.
For, we're going to repeat that lesson one last time. Last lesson of the week. Woo. I accidentally closed my PowerPoint, so we're going to get that up there. But this one is about scheduling your trading day. We talked so much this week about different times of day to trade. So now it's like, now that you have your time of day that you know you like to trade that works the best for you, how are you going to schedule your trading day so that you can make the most out of these hours that we have in the market? Or, as Obi was touching on too, how can you make the most of your hours after the market? Because those can actually be really key for your trading day as well. Yeah. So that's going to be very key here as we get into the lesson. So getting ready. Now that you want to trade, you're ready to go for the day. How are you going to prepare yourself? What kind of working out, what kind of reps are you going to do in the pre? Come on, PowerPoint. Oh, not touching the right. There we go. Get familiar with market news. That's really important. You want to imagine you're getting ready for a big game, and you're going to be checking your news, seeing what's happening in the market. Are there any stocks or any sectors in general that are getting a little bit of heat, a little bit of excitement that you want to interact with or that you want to be keeping your eye on as you head into the day? You also might be wanting to see any social media sites, especially Twitter or X. What are people talking about? A lot of some of these small caps, you'll say, oh, there's not really any news on it. Then you check Twitter, and there's been 20 tweets in the last 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes, right? So that's how you know these are stocks people have their eye on, and these are things you might want to keep an eye on as well. Also, make sure you're using scanners and apps to find stocks. That's really helped me. We had a previous lesson where Sharif and I were talking about scanners and how we find stocks to trade, and a lot of the watch list is based on what I see on the scanners. I see things moving, then you do your little checking, see, hey, is this moving for a reason? Are people tweeting about it? Are people news articling about it? And then that's how you know this is something to be keeping on your radar. But now you have your plan. Now it's about figuring out how to execute it.
Yeah, so mapping the field, again, kind of continuing on. You've picked the tickers that you want to interact with. Now you got to be like, all right, well, let's and you've checked the news. You've seen what's in play. That's how you pick that's how you've kind of picked your tickers in a sense. Maybe it's a catalyst of news. Maybe it's a fundamental catalyst. Maybe it's a technical catalyst, right? I like those a lot as well. So whatever reason you may have to pick that name, you have that on your block. Now it's like, okay, what do we do with the game now? What's the game plan? Let's map the field there. All right, so looking at the charts, so we look left on the charts, maybe look at multiple different time frames. If I'm making a game plan on, say, like Amazon or Intel or Nvidia, whatever it may be, I'm looking left. I'm looking at the weekly chart. I'm looking at the daily chart. I'm looking at the hourly. I'm looking at the 15-minute. I'm going down into the 5-minute, the 1-minute, maybe sometimes even the second charts as well, right? To kind of get a feel for what that tape might have looked like at that moment. So kind of mapping out your levels is a key part of kind of building your trade plan, right? So you're mapping out what you're going to be doing and why, at those specific levels, what you might be looking for in all of your if-then statements, right? So if price does this when it gets to this level here, if price action acts in a certain way, if a bidder shows up at a resistance level or aggressive sellers start to come in after we've failed to follow through a significant level, et cetera, you kind of plan your strategy for the day off of said charts. So that's, again, a key part of your morning prep.
Yeah, thank you so much, Obi, for going over that. So now that you have your prep, you know what it's time for? Game time.
Game time.
because this is a sports analogy day. Go sports. So now that you have your plan, what are you going to do with it? You want to make sure you stick to your plan, but you also want to stay sharp. If things change, I talk about this, I call it scalpulation. If I have a plan and then I see in the book things are getting a little bit dicey, I might have to scalp some of it out, or I might have to be prepared to edit that plan a little bit. Make sure that you have a plan, but you're also willing to adapt if you need to. As I always quote Michael Scott from The Office, adapt, react, readapt, act. That's how the market can make you feel sometimes. So you always want to make sure you're on your toes, the appropriate amount, not too much and not too little, just right, like Goldilocks. Also, you want to make sure you understand your trading style and how and when to apply it. So different people trade different ways, right? If you know you're a bit more of a pre-market trader, you want to make sure that you're getting involved in that pre-market action. What if you're ready for the open? You want those big moves out the open. Make sure that you understand what way you think the market will move. You have your catalyst ready, you have your stocks ready, you're ready to punch in. That could be really key as well. It really depends on your strategy, and a lot of that is going to depend on what type of trader you are, what action you're comfortable with, what risk you're ready to put on, and again, a lot of this will come down to time of day, because certain times of day might be more apt for your trading style, more apt for the type of way you trade. But now that it's game time, you always have to look back after and think, what could I have done differently?
Yeah, so the post-game review, right? So this is the time you're taking out of your day at the end of the day after the market has closed, after maybe you've had some R&R, maybe you do a little bit of a workout, maybe you kind of put in some sort of a meditation, or you kind of have some sort of ritual to build discipline, etc. outside of your trading, so it can come into your trading, and then you hit the books or you hit the journal specifically and kind of look at your trades for the day. I like to take screenshots of my charts here. This is charts you see. I just take a quick screenshot of that, and maybe my trade log as well, which gives me specifics as to what prices, what time, what size I might have taken at those levels. That kind of gives you a whole picture of what you actually did on the day. And then you kind of write. You have your note taking. You have your charting your trades, right? Was this a breakout trade? Like, what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to revert the move. I'm trying to revert the reversion, but we are reverting yesterday's reversion of the reversion. So I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe I'm pushing too much, right? Even though this is potentially part of my playbook, it's not setting up for everything. So I might be asking for a little too much there. So it's being aware of what your plan actually is, and kind of coming into the day, doing that prep for the next day as well, right? So you assess your trades on the day, you keep a journal to track your progress, so it provides you a base to improve off of. You know where you're losing, you know where you're winning, you know what you eventually, if you have enough of a database, then you know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, regardless of what you may like or not like, right? You can be like, oh, I don't like scalping, I like to take the level to level move, but your stats could show that you do a lot better on your scalps than when you try to take moves for the moon, right? So if you really get meticulous with your tracking, then you can be like, okay, well, clearly my stats show me that this is what I should be focused on. These are my strengths, and at the end of the day, those are what are going to make you more consistent and profitable in the long run, is working on your strengths a lot more than kind of building up and strengthening your weaknesses first, right? So journaling provides a good base, and also that off hour. I want to emphasize again, the time you spend off hours. Definitely, I am a strong believer of that being a very key integral part of consistency and long-term success as well in your career and journey as a trader.
Yeah, I love that. And also, extra tips here as we end this lesson, last lesson of the week. Crazy how fast this week moved. You really want to make sure that you get to know yourself as a trader and figure out your trading style. As Obi said, I think that's something I need to do. Like, look back at every trade and see beyond what you say you are, what you qualify yourself as or categorize yourself as, what are the stats telling you? Yeah. As Jay-Z once said, numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard. So sometimes you have to do that to really get a sense of the actuality. Thank you to the bang button for whoever hit that one there. Fabian or Ramin? Ramin? Sean. Oh, Sean. Thank you. Yeah, I was sorry. I'm blind. Yeah. But yeah, Sean.
Lil Wayne has a line like that as well.
Really?
Right?
Do?
Yeah. He goes. I think he goes. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget what song that was.
A couple rappers with some good lines about that. But the point we're trying to make is it's clear that statistics are real.
Yes.
As many rappers have attested, and as we can attest, and as Obi just attested there too. That's why it's important to reflect you can really like trading a name, but that doesn't mean that name treats you well or that you're good at trading that name. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to look back, and this is something I really need to start implementing into my trading, so that you know what your trading style is on an empirical level beyond how you feel. Stocks don't care about your feelings, and neither does your trading diary. So, I mean, you can point to how you felt about the trades, but that doesn't mean the trade's going to improve. So I think that's really key, and it's something to keep in mind as well. You also don't want to be afraid to be patient, as Elon in the chat, not Musk, was saying earlier, saying like, sometimes you just need to be patient and wait for the move, and don't chase. And so I think, don't go chasing waterfalls. Make sure that whatever time of day, if you prefer trading in the midday, don't take trades off the open if that's not for you. Just that type of thing, right? You can also tie that back to time of day, making sure you're patient, taking it slow, and also doing meditation if that works for you. I think it's been a really fun, hopefully a fun lesson to kind of end the week and bring everything back full circle.
For sure, for sure. I think, I really like this week where we kind of covered different kinds of trading at different times of the day, right? And that's something I've been kind of working on myself as in terms of like the playbook and learning through my own journaling is like, all right, well, in the morning you're doing better on these kinds of trades. During the midday, you're doing better on these kinds of trades. During the end of the day, these are the trades that you are doing better on, or even worse, like what does not work in the morning. So that's it. If you have those stats, it becomes very clear as to what you shouldn't be touching, regardless of how enticing it may look in the moment off of the opening session or even the midday session. So I think it was a great week of highlighting some of those trading nuances or trading kind of factors to consider, right? Time of day and kind of scheduling for your day, reviewing scans throughout the day, right? Making sure you're actively scanning for anything else that might be popping up midday, as opportunities are galore in a market like this, right? So you don't want to get stuck on one idea too strongly when there are other names providing you with high probability structure and moves or trades even on or across the board, and you're never going to know unless you're following those apps. You're kind of maybe you have scanners. I love scanners. I don't really follow too many people on Twitter. Very select amount of people on Twitter, and most of them is just news squawks, right? So it's like, I want to be the first to know. I don't want to know what somebody's opinion on a ticker is. I don't really care. I care what the price action might do relative to news that might be changing a fundamental perspective, or maybe just sentiment on a ticker, right? So that's what I like to kind of look at as well. So quality quality and selection of what you do follow can also help to protect the mental, right? It's like everybody's got an opinion on Tesla or Intel or Nvidia or Amazon, but that's not necessarily going to help me in terms of my trading and reading price action and kind of stuff like that. So I think that's always a good look to kind of protect the mental. I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, but all right. So coming in a little bit there on the ES, a little bit more than the NQ. You can see that this 15-minute candle, bit of a wick off of this short-term range. So just some microstructure right there happening, potentially giving us maybe some direction. I have no idea yet. I got to take a look at some of these tickers here. What's Amazon doing? What's Apple doing? What's Alphabet doing? What is Softy and Nvidia doing? They're all near their highs. Amazon looking a little bit, I am kind of waiting a little bit longer here. I did like the short up here. Again, you can see how aggressive I was getting as we got closer to 186, but clearly that is the front side of the move. I got to be patient for that backside, and when that backside comes in, oh boy, is that going to be hot. And because we've been pretty much trending up and we've been strong for majority of the day. I don't even know if it's going to come in, but if it does, I'm looking for it to act a certain way. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine as well. I will try to stay nimble, but that's kind of part of the plan there on the day here. So again, thank you all for joining us today and this week as well for your daily how to trade midday session. with Adara and I, and yeah, let us know in the chat. What have you guys learned this week? This week's been packed with a lot of opportunities. Were there some trades that you took that really stood out, wins or losses? What were your biggest lessons this week? The market is full of opportunity and full of some crazy wild moves, and yeah, I'd love to hear what your guys' take is in the chat. So just leave us a comment in the chat, and we're more than willing to take a look as well. I got to drink some water.
Yeah, no, I think for myself, thank you so much for going over all of that, Obi. Yeah, we still have half an hour left. I can't believe it. What a week it's been. I'm trying to add into this IWM here. I think this is looking pretty weak. We are kind of continuing to shop lower a little bit. Noticing we're struggling a little bit, not just because it's the 90 MA, because like I said, I'm trying to be less reliant on that, especially with my ETFs, but also the book here. We are struggling with that 205.20. So,
Strudling?
Yeah.
Like
I said
a
struggle in a
strudel?
cool way, I guess.
Ah, nice.
Maybe not cool. Cool is a strong word. I said struggle in a different way. Said it in a different way. But yeah, we're having a bit of a hard time with this 205.20 area. Now it looks like we're maybe trying to push above, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But I have that level. Also, I do have to talk about this. I fat fingered out of Tesla, unfortunately. We lost about like 10 pennies. I'm making a weird face, but I was a little disappointed in myself. But I didn't also feel confident enough in it to get back in. If we keep holding this level, mind you, I might. We've held it since I accidentally got out, but I don't want to get in just because I got chopped out by my own inability to proofread. You know what I mean? I think, and now we bounced up again. Okay, Tesla. Okay. But no, it's all good. Where's the next trade? I don't want to get back into trade just because, you know, as a FOMO, like, oh, you accidentally got out. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to wait and see here. Tesla not as, the initial plan for this was to kind of continue to scalp it out. We held that, I was talking earlier about that 168, 167.50 area. That 168 held really well. Should have scalped it out for the 20 pennies here. But I was wanting that 68, 30, 40 area that I was playing around here earlier today. Then I was going to save a piece of the dream at 60s. Tesla didn't really give you that. And then, of course, we accidentally fat fingered out of it. But either way, the support here around that 167.80s is massive, and it's something I do want to keep an eye on, but it's just not something I have a huge read on right now. IWM right now, IW moving against me a little bit here. We're kind of getting into that that 22 area. So, but we're still, I mean, as you can see here, we're still like looking on these 5-minute candles, previous support. The book is not rapidly moving here with any kind of viciousness, right? So we're going to give this to about 30s. I want to see what we do with those previous spikes and those previous candles. And of course, I'll be watching the tape. Every time I trade the ETF, to me, this is all tape. If we keep staying in this kind of slowish way and we're below that 30s area, I might add a little bit more. I have a healthy position that I could take little portions out of as we go to the downside. So scoop it out as we go. So I feel pretty good about this trade. For the time being, of course, being that it is the market, things can change on a dime. So we're going to have to wait and see. Nvidia, I would love to trade because it's rangy. But when I say rangy, I mean like 30 pennies, which, you know, I like my ranges, but on Nvidia, that's basically a spread, right? So I don't want to get too excited or too involved here. As you can see, lots of chop and churn. But on the 1 minute, which is I have my 1 minute, my side chart for Nvidia, you can really see, look at us kind of dance around this 90 MA. If we keep rejecting the 90 MA and I see confluence on a wider time frame, that could be a short. But of course, I need to be first checking for my confluence on a wider time frame before I do any kind of dancing there. Also, what's been strong all day, which I kept trying to short for some reason, Microsoft. Let's again switch to our wider time frame, 5 minute. Yeah, so Microsoft, I didn't, this short would have worked out if I had just scalped it at that 425.20s, which is what I should have done. I didn't. All good, happy I got out where I did. We make new highs of days, then we kind of fall back below here. There's clearly some support here at 425 on Microsoft, I think. We had that earlier, a little bit of that doji, then we pop back up, support again, pop back up, support again, pop back up. I sound a little bit redundant, but that's, Microsoft's been moving in a very repetitive way, right? So I think that's certainly worth noting. IWM curling back down here, I'm going to add a little bit more to this position. So I think if we do get that quadunk or that fall, I want to have enough where I can really feel comfortable doling out the position on our move to the downside. So let's see if we even have it. Right now it's moving a little bit slowly, but IWM does tend to have that chop and churn at times. So let's see. Also, Z earlier in the chat was asking if you wanted to look at any weed stocks. So I just remembered that. So
Sure, yeah, we can take a look at some cannabis names here. I know that they have been getting quite high as of late. So CGC, let's take a look at CGC first. We'll run down through some of the major names. Let me know in the chat if I've missed any. But yeah, CGC, you can see that we had that strong move over the past, I guess, earlier on in the week, and we've pretty much retraced. So I kind of mentioned that some of these weed names are repeat offenders, so you kind of have to watch out for that bid and not really get lost in the sauce, being like, this is going to continue. We're back in 2019, 2020, and the weed move is there. I don't know about that. Just look left on the chart and you can see how these things start to behave when they do go on a high RVOL, kind of a couple days, sometimes for a couple week kind of run there. But nice little pullback on CGC as well. ACB, we know that does a decent amount of volume as well. You can see, look at that nice little backside move after pushing up into the 9s yesterday, or trying to push into the 9s. 888 is the high, so we've been fading off into the end of the week. Again, next week could be a whole different story, but as of right now, Thursday we made a high and we've pulled off quite nicely off of that. Haven't really broken below where we started off. Earlier on in the week, we can see that volume. Look at that volume kind of expanding and really getting aggressive as those highs kind of come in, and then it just falls off. So maybe poised for a potential liquidity trap if it fails to follow through to the downside and manages to hold some sort of price there, with that high volume kind of day being very, very interesting. Some of these prices there, if we can kind of start to violate those off of a failure to follow through on the downside, maybe we're poised for a little bit more of a squeeze, but I have no idea. MSOS is the ETF for cannabis stocks, and you can see how strong of a sell-off it had yesterday, end of day as well. So it pretty much retraced all of the move that it had during this week as well. So ETFs kind of giving you a little bit of a, I guess, safer, more manageable vehicle potentially on some of its constituents, and you can see how strong of a move MSOS had over the past, I guess, yesterday, and today we're just kind of grinding some of it back there on MSOS. So I asked you earlier in the chat what you guys might have learned and what you guys have been doing this week. Anything stand out? And I'm just reading, so we can kind of go through some of these together here. Where was I? I think it was, okay, so Roger is saying that he took it easy peasy, only executed on his A+ setups. Nice. I like that. Got to focus on the highest probability setups that you have, right? I definitely vibe with that one. That one is some good advice. Chris J saying made great bank on AMD puts, but sold too early, 25K too early. Oh boy, and Tesla puts help pad that today, but still, okay. And the sentence ends there. But nice, congrats. Sure, we can't. Sometimes on the best trades, what I find is that you're almost always covering a little too early, or maybe there's almost always something better you could have done, right? But it's always a good thing. Congrats on being in the green on that. Ponzi Fonzie saying that I learned that Popeye's chicken is the shiz. Nice. All right. So what else? I have no idea. Is there something going on with it?
Why are people saying talking about it in the chat?
I have no idea.
Maybe he just wanted Popeyes. I haven't heard much anything about it. I'll look.
I think they're spicy chicken burger or something like that. It's sandwich. Sorry, Ramin. She's like sandwich. All right. So, is there a difference between sandwich and burger? I think there is. Yeah. All right, so correction by Ramin, thank you.
Yeah.
The spicy chicken sandwich from Popeyes, quite nice, I do like it. But you know what's weird? What I've noticed is that different locations make it distinctly different. And I'm like, there's only certain locations that it does taste much better at. And I think there's one in Saga that I like, and other places I don't really like. Like the
what
ones
area of Saga, just to get like a highly specific? I used to live in Saga.
Yeah, so my sister lives in Saga. So when I go to visit her, sometimes on the way back home, I'll stop at that specific Popeyes.
Oh, so it's just one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is. I think it's just off the highway on
so
Mavis or something. But yeah, I don't know.
Shout out to Mavis. But yeah, I mean, so we're getting the highly specific GTA talk. I apologize. Also,
the one highway.
But I know it.
Yeah.
No one else
Yeah.
says those stories.
I mean, if you guys are really invested in what that highway is, you can pull it up on
Yeah.
Google Maps there.
Shout out to GTA life. But yeah, also, I want to talk about tired trading. This is a lesson I learned today. I just took a big sip of coffee because I thought I had more in this IWM than I did. So I'm just like trying to punch out, and then I add to it in a long. So as I'm getting out of my short, I go long, and now it looks like the short would have been right. So it's like, you know, sometimes you just need to have that coffee. It's a Friday. This is like, girl, what are you doing? I look at the position board, and it shows green instead of red. So it's like, Adara, you're long. What is happening? I didn't even want to go long. I just wanted to get out of the short, and I thought I had way more here than I did. But you know what? All I can do here is learn. Maybe instead of just getting that coffee re-up before the midday, maybe I want to get a tea re-up too.
Yep.
Or maybe opposite. See, instead of just getting my tea, I want to get a coffee as well, maybe. But yeah, that was not the vibe at all. Yeah, I've learned a lot this week. Like I said, I need to just sit down and do that compliance test because I am interested in potentially going live here. The thing is, though, this week was rough for me. I'm going to be really honest. We pretty much took L's every day this week. Yesterday was not bad. I think yesterday was flat. But I think it's just a matter of kind of learning to be comfortable and being more awake while you trade. And I mean that literally with that IWM, because I do not know if I was fully behind the wheel there on those trades. Just be alert, be ready, be prepared. Also, Tesla, sometimes, I've said this before, sometimes fat fingers save lives. That's what happened here. I did accidentally get out of that at that 167.80. Happy I got out where I did because I would have had to get out as we broke below here anyway. But then we make that big move down. Tesla may be bouncing on VWAP though. As you know, that VWAP break above here earlier was pretty key. So let's see if we can hold VWAP. Fat fingers here. I love this as a trading definition. Shout out there to the production team, killing it every day. Let's look as well. Someone was taking me about Apple trying to breaking above here. Yeah, Apple's an interesting one. We do have a little bit of these lower highs, slightly lower lows, but Apple's been pretty strong. Not the dead one, as Sharif and I will sometimes call it on this show. Definitely not the dead one. Higher earlier today, this was a really nice push here. That little bit of consolidation off the open. Swoop up, slightly higher low. Swoop up again, and higher low. Beautiful VWAP bounce, and we keep flying. So nice look. Apple, no more coffee, breaking above that 170 area, or trying to. Right now we just broke below, but yeah, I think Apple could be an interesting one here today. I think I might need to chug some more coffee from the sounds of it, but it looks like this market might also need to wake up because we're pulling a little bit to the downside. And I see you're back in the
Yeah, so I saw that pullback happen, and I'm like, all right, well, that's a little bit of what I might be looking for. I don't know if it's going to come into fruition, but we are slowing down a tiny bit there. So I did initiate the position. And again, I'm kind of staying a little bit nimble here. We could kind of rip right back up and continue bidding up here. It could just be trend deceleration, right? You can't just be like trend breaks don't necessarily always mean a full-on reversion. We could just be slowing down, right? You can have a very strong trend. You take a pullback, yeah, you break that initial trend, but you can see it kind of hold a higher low with respect to a previous low, right? And if you guys like to use indicators, how you might observe that on like an array of moving averages is that if you have an 8 and a 21 up, you can see that sometimes it breaks the 8, but it'll catch the 21, right? Or it'll catch the 50. It'll break the 10. It'll break the 21. It'll catch the 50, and then it'll bid back up. So it's like you don't necessarily have to look for that kind of a full flush down on the initial moving average break or whatever. It could just be a slowing of that trend of a bigger picture potential kind of bid coming in and being like, all right, we're not going to be as aggressive. We're going to get a little bit more passive now and let it kind of maybe if they really want to buy, maybe get to some better prices and hold it up there. But yeah, let's see what we got in store today. The market did revert a decent amount. A lot of names reverting over 100% of yesterday's move. And Sean astutely pointing out that we went up today a lot more than we went down yesterday as the market almost 2% there. 1.8 was the high. Now we're pushing 1.5s. So let's see what we got in store for us going into the later half of the day there. People are saying, Royce's 2 cents are saying, iRobot options are all over the place. Yeah, let's see what iRobot has done with that previous high in and around 933s. Okay, so it's it held that. That's the high of the day today. So clearly on a high volatility move, when price jumps around, it'll clip like a place where someone might be sitting, right? So it seems like that's confirming here as today's high, 933 as well. So a potential resistance happening there at that 933 as it's coming in with the penny. Here comes a little bit of a flush across the board. Oh boy, Amazon, is this it? I need to have a little bit more. Give me some more chances, girl.
Oh, Amazon, give me one more chance. Yeah, Jackson 5. But yeah, I mean, I got involved here in this Nvidia. Let's see how this goes. I got in because I did like that bounce we were having here off that 880.50s area. Then we also had that bounce kind of on the chart. We have bounced a little bit successfully. If you want to keep bouncing Nvidia, you know, jumping around here. I'm going to shout out, I guess, more music from the past. But let's see what we do here at this level. We have, as you can see on a wick basis and on a candle basis, bounced here before. So maybe we can bounce again. If we do want to bounce again, I like the bottom of this early consolidation range, which should be about $1 in the money. We're going to actually get our order set out here because with Nvidia, you do not want to be waiting. You want to be, Phony Baloney was in the chat saying, OB be nimble, OB be quick, because OB's talking about staying nimble, which is also that Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, little nursery rhyme there. So appreciated that. That's what I'm trying to do here in Nvidia. You always want to be nimble in these markets, but especially if you are trading a name that goes by the name of Nvidia. So let's see NVDA if we can make this work today. We had a bit of a weaker trade in this one earlier, but today we're coming in a little bit calmer, a little bit prepared, a little bit more subdued due to, you know, maybe needing more coffee, but we're all good on this. Let's see what we do here at this bounce of this. If we bounce off this 879 area, so we're giving this about $1.50, which is not really great risk reward wise, as I say that out loud, but let's see what happens here. Let's keep bouncing Nvidia if you want to, up to you. Also, we're going to take a moment here to shout out our lovely sponsors here at Benzinga Pro, because this is the platform that we use. I use it to help make the watch list. We use it to look for news. Sean talks about the Benzinga Squawk. It is a platform that is very key for our news information. So let's have a chat about this one for sure. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders. You just have to use the code TTV, capital letters, and use the link in the description to go to check out. So that is Benzinga Pro. Let's see what happens here and see how this goes. Opie jumped over the Amazon candlestick. That's what Fonzie's saying. In relation to that, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jumped over the candlestick.
Nice. I like that one. I'm gonna write that one down. I like that one. Yeah. So we've jumped a few candlesticks here over and over again, attempting this short, and then let's see if it actually comes in. There goes the NQ. Let's see if we can come into that 18.3. A little bit of an interesting kind of a dance that we've been doing in and around that 18.3 as well. So let's see if we get that reversion of the reversion that we're reverting yesterday's price action. So that was reverting yesterday's price action in the morning session. So let's see how much we get there, if it'll happen at all. I do want to get a little bit more here on the Amazon there, if it does start to potentially make some lower highs and start to sell off a little bit there. It's holding. We've been holding above VWAP as well, so that's something I do want to keep in mind. Something to note. But again, if the markets come in real hot, that VWAP doesn't mean anything, and we might just crack right through it. So again, let's see if that tailwind kind of comes in with the market. We know that sellers have been quite aggressive this whole week. Kind of started in earlier this week. Yesterday, I was talking to one of my buddies here, and he was just saying that that selling started quite aggressively a couple days ago. So let's take a look at the ES, and you can see how that action, that behavior kind of started coming in earlier on this week. We got that this craziness here. So what is that? That's on Wednesday, right? Yeah. So you can see Tuesday strong selling, Monday strong selling, and we try to bid up into that 5,300 yesterday, and oh boy, strong selling indeed. And then now we're kind of popping right back up into this consolidation, this chop, this range, whatever you want to call it, that's been happening here in and around this the 53 area on the ES. So Strong sellers coming off of it yesterday. Do we make a lower high today going into the end of the week? We've reverted a decent chunk of the move, right? A little over 50% of the move has been reverted today on the ES. So do we just kind of coast off and print nothing sideways, or do we make a move one way or the other? I have no idea, but it does seem like that selling pressure this whole week has been quite aggressive. So going into the end of the week, I want to know if those sellers kind of come back in and say, this is who's in charge, and this is how we're going to close this week off. I have no idea. I'm just kind of speculating there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep my eye on the consumer credit number we get at 3 p.m. because last time they gave the market a little bit of a. So I remember too, there was like, oh, what's that big move? And then it turns out, yeah, it was consumer credit, which we were just not prepared for it to give the market the move that it had. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that at 3 p.m. Nvidia is bouncing beautifully at this 880 level, so beautifully that I added a little bit to the position. So as Obi puts it sometimes, you know, cheeky long or whatever, yeah, a little bit of a cheeky reload here. We'll have to see how this goes. Let's see if we keep bouncing at this level. Right now, though, I'm not loving that we're not able to eclipse this 880 or 881 area. I have an 880, just shy of 881 area to add to the position. Then I want to get out entirely by 881.30s because I'm noticing these highs are getting lower and lower. So I don't want it to get too low. Shout out to Florida. I just really want to have this opportunity to extricate myself from this trade post-haste in a timely manner with some shares and some positivity intact. Also, AMD, what are you doing, girl? I just noticed that on my side chart. And yeah, these wicks really distorted this. But as you can see, this one falling a little bit here. Generally, though, that resistance is clearly, I think, at that 172.40 area. That is, yeah, that was certainly a level to keep an eye on here. It's not showing as the high of day because of that wick up here, but it does look like that's more or less our intraday print. Again, I need to check because I can't really tell because we do have that distortion from that, because this is telling me our high of day print was 192.67, which it was not, but it is if you look at this wick. So, I mean, definitely, though, we are near high of day here, and I think we are clearly seeing some resistance for AMD, so it'll be interesting to see what we do here. We got filled in Nvidia, so please just punch on that. We are awaiting eagerly, but not too eagerly. You know, we're trying to be calm and coy here with Nvidia. But if Nvidia wants to take that 881.30 area, I would be very pleased indeed. Tesla looking like, someone, Mohican Scalper was saying earlier, Tesla is coming back to Adara's range, and you're right, it is. I didn't have any plays at the 166.50 level properly. I was more kind of interested in what we were doing at 165.50 and then into that 168, but you're right, we're definitely within the range. So shout out to you for pointing that one out. I haven't played this just because, like I said, this wasn't really my previously identified specific area within that range, but you're right, I think there are some, it's certainly an interesting area here to see what we do. If we hold up here, that was an area we had to fight to get above earlier because it was VWAP earlier. So let's see what we do here on Tesla, Stressla, Besla. I'm not calling her Stressla today. I have to say I was pretty impressed with how this one held up its previous levels of support and resistance, even with that big move down. So interesting look here. And then not even big move down, just that massive move back up here on that move down. To say the bamboozlement was real in Tesla would not be, I don't think, an overstatement on this name. It's certainly been an interesting one. If you want to look back at a reflection of everything we did this week in the market, make sure you check out the podcast tonight. Well, not tonight. We're filming tonight. The podcast will come out tomorrow morning. So check that out wherever you get your podcast on that QR code. How are you doing?
Yeah, some punching through the bid across the board here that I'm seeing. So as the market comes in, look at that 185. I was like, okay, well, I want a little bit more here at that 185, and it comes right in, bang, with that market flush. Let's see what we do. Can we get to that 18.3? Can Amazon break this 185, or do we kind of scoop right back up? I have no idea, but it does seem like we're starting to curl just a little bit right now, and yeah, so I do kind of again, I keep asking myself, where can I get more responsibly, right? Where can I add to this position in a responsible manner while also kind of managing my risk at the same time and not really messing up my average too much? So I'm kind of being a little bit patient here, but Ponzi Fonzie, I think it was reminding me very astutely that yeah, gotta be nimble, gotta be quick. As this price action, when it comes in, Oh boy, is it quick, quick wiping through the book, through the bid, through the ask. Either way, you saw what happened on Tesla. You see what's happening right now across the board here. So Alphabet, maybe a little bit of a curl happening there. Apple, where's Apple here? So Spider pulling back off that 520 we were talking about. So that 520 is the high as of right now. Nvidia pulling back off of 885s, 884.80 is the high right now. And Apple 170. Oh boy, that 170 was definitely interesting. We are taking a wee bit of a pullback off of that 170 on Apple. Softy as well. Softy, what was the high of the day? 426. We're at 424.70s right now. So a little bit of a pullback. Tesla as well, huh? Hello, Tesla. You were talking about that 169.
Yeah.
That was a great place to sell, it seems like, as Tesla's pulled back about 3 points off of that.
Yeah,
Nice.
like that. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I think this is great, and I didn't get involved right away, although I did end up getting involved in that short because I wanted to make sure it would actually reject there because we did have that big move back. But that's why I said it's crazy how well Tesla had that big sell-off, and then it shows so much respect left for these levels. Like I am legitimately previous support comes in as resistance, and then we can see that other area of support coming in as resistance, like. Tesla, if we bounce off this 165 area or 165.50, you are going to be a very beautiful range trade in some way. Like this is, honestly, this to me was really fun because I got to exercise my rangier and scalpier nature while also being able to have a little bit of fun as well with some of these breakout areas because we broke in and out of these ranges. So yeah, nice one. I had fun with that one. Thank you. Also, I got out of Nvidia. I have to say, very proud. I got out exactly where I wanted to. It was the type of boring exit from a losing trade that you want. So, no complaints there on Nvidia. I can't believe we only have 5 minutes left of what's been a really eventful, I think, and chaotic midday week. Do you have any big weekend plans or any afternoon plans for the rest of the week?
I I guess big plans would be kind of continuing to work on and building more of the playbook. I think I've been working on that over the past couple of weekends, and yeah, just cataloging some trades of the week. You know how crazy this week has been, and I'm like, I know I didn't capture a lot of the moves that happened, but I do want to kind of catalog and document some of the moves that did happen. So if and when something like that may or may not happen again, I'm a little bit better prepared, right? We talk about setting yourself up to be lucky, and I think that's kind of what my intention with that is. I am trying to get lucky with that, and putting in that work, I think, is a good step towards achieving that. But this weekend, those are the plans. I think most of Saturday, just going to be panning out some more of the playbook there, adding some charts and some plays that I did take this week that worked well, what didn't work well, things like that, and maybe a little bit of gaming as well. So Saturdays I like to do some gaming. I've been playing Cyberpunk recently. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have
but
not. Really
yeah, so
that.
Cyberpunk, for those of you guys who know, pretty awesome game and a lot of fun as well. I know I'm a little bit late to the party on that one. I've been waiting for, I think it's been a couple of years since it came out. Never really started it, and I was like, I'll eventually get to it. I'm like, I haven't been doing a lot of gaming as of late. I do play Rocket League every now and then, but no, Saturdays are kind of like, you practice more mental practice of high pressure situations. Here comes that 18.3 that we were talking about on the futures. Here we go, slamming to the downside. Oh boy, can you not give me a little bit of relief to add more Amazon? You got to short the market here. And there was a little bit of a wick dance on the Google that happened. Oh boy, Amazon to the downside with the NQ as well. Maybe, Sean, I should probably punch the NQ next time as well. And he's still short the TQs. Absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
184.50s coming in. Can we get a point, Amazon? 184.30s would be right there. 185. When that came in through 185, and now we're testing through VWAP as well. So beautiful kind of reversion happening on the Amazon itself, and again, not just Amazon, the whole market. So don't want to be looking a gift horse in the mouth, as Neil likes to say. So I am kind of watching this, but you know what? I've made this mistake a couple times this week. I covered too early on a strong move. let me throw some reasons to cover on there and not really touch the position until those reasons come in.
I like that.
I will
yeah,
do that.
I think that makes sense. And we only have, I can't believe, a minute and a half left. We have Bears vs. Bulls saying, oh boy is right, to the reaction to that move. Yeah, thank you so much to everybody here. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls, and everybody here in the chat for your support. I hope you guys had a great week and learned some stuff. I feel like I did learn a lot. I wish it was showing up more in the trading, but I was really proud of this little Nvidia long. And I think, you know what, honestly, just trying to learn every single day, every single week, every hour, every second, I don't know, any time period, because it's the learning, it's the rep, it's the practice that makes you learn. And I think, you know, one thing that Sean said that really stuck with me yesterday as well is just learning to be bold while you trade. And I think that really did help me, having these instincts to get involved, get short that Tesla when I wanted to, within reason, once the setup came in. Get long that Nvidia. We got out, you know, we made some profit on this position, even though I probably should have taken it all out there, right? It's practicing, it's getting the reps, and it's getting more comfortable when you see something, acting on it. So that's a huge thing I've learned on. Congrats to OB2 on those shorts, because yeah, Intel I know has been kind of asleep.
Yeah, Intel is kind of interesting. It's not really going for the move, and maybe I'll give it some more time there. But again, I'm staying patient, like I said I would. But I actually didn't on the Amazon short. A little bit of impatience getting short aggressively on the front side of the move, and then when it actually does come in, it does look a little bit, not a little bit, a lot more obvious. And this is what I'm going to be reviewing over the weekend, Adara. I'm like, all right, cool. This definitely not it. This definitely not it. This definitely not it. What was distinctly different about this trade that happened with the confluence that it actually fell through with that reversion? Not just any reversion. Look at that market tailwind. So it's not just Amazon that's kind of making that move. It's a much, much bigger kind of trade than just a quick Amazon scalp, in my opinion. The futures on the NQ dropped over 50 points, now pushing about 100 points on that reversion move. So I can definitely be doing a lot better with that piece of the playbook. So that's kind of what I'll be reviewing over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, with that, thank you so much for going over that, Obi. And with that, we are done for the week. Thanks again, Obi, for covering here for Sharif. We'll see. Oh yeah, of course. We'll see Sharif next week back from his safari. Same bat time, same bat channel. For now, Brendan's at the big desk. Have a good weekend, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, happy Friday afternoon. Couple hours left in the session to go here as we still see a little bit of pressure coming into the EV land, specifically off this note from Reuters early on. I'll show you that in a second. I want to mention this right away. This is a weekly chart, so keep the context in mind here. If you zoom out on Rivian, we're right now right at the lows. So last line in the sand possibly currently happening. This $10 area being tested right now on Rivian. The overall market starting to look oddly familiar to maybe what happened yesterday. Hopefully we don't get such dramatic follow through on this move to the downside. Still up a full % here for the NASDAQ, but this move yesterday and the rollover that happened oddly familiar to what's going on. Right now, selling into the weekend potentially to come. We had a huge move up in the dollar to kick things off. If you missed it this morning, the non-farm payrolls came out much higher than expected. Again, 300,000+ jobs created in March versus 200,000 expected. So huge miss to the upside. If you missed it during lunchtime, Tesla with a huge move down. Reuters comes out, says they're scrapping entirely plans for a cheaper Model 2. Everyone was expecting it to be called. This was Elon's reply to that. Reuters is dying and also lying about this report. So right back up for Tesla after Elon comes out to clarify they have no idea what they're talking about, apparently. So yeah, the SPY, even same as the Qs here, we had this huge, heavily weighted move to the downside as far as volume is concerned anyways. Yesterday, kind of setting up the same here this afternoon. Hopefully won't be as dramatic. There it is, March non-farm payrolls 303. 200 was expected, 3.8 on the unemployment rate. That was also higher than expected as well. They did revise the February number downside ever so slightly, but wasn't enough, in my opinion anyways, as far as the overall market is concerned. 0.85 right now for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ about 1 full % under pressure. We can touch on a few things that we were discussing if you're with us. In the pre-market this morning, there's a ton of things moving around once again. We actually had Apple at the top of the list. As far as catalysts this morning, I mean, there was a number of things, some layoffs coming through, a number of analyst notes once again on Apple specific.